Hey, there we go. All right, not too bad. How are you? Hi, everybody. Not behind the wheel of a car today. Good. And I just ran in because my headphones. Oh, I'm very choppy on there. That's not good. I'll wait till I slow down. Am I smoother? A little bit choppy. A little bit, but not too bad. Also, because I have the other window open, which I have shut, which will make everything run better. I have to minimize the. Whoops, it's frozen. That's not good. That's genuinely frozen. That's slow. How did I overheat in my computer so fast? Okay, because the window was closing. It just took a second. My computer had a moment of panic. We're okay. All right. Now I think it should be relatively smooth. I hope. Thank you. I do read the chat, Carol, and hi. Hold on. Amy, no, the pendants at this point are not for sale. They are going to be going out to our longest running patrons. If I ever get around to all the other stuff that I have to mail out. But that's what these are. This is, for those of you who don't know, this is called the Spark. And it's a symbol I designed when I was in high school, when my theater teacher asked me why I felt the need to not focus on acting, but to do stand-up and all this other stuff at the same time. Why I had to do that stuff. And my answer to her was that I believed, and I still believe, that every aspect of yourself artistically influences every other aspect of yourself artistically. And if you burn off and only use the parts that sort of quasi-represent your... Why are my pods not going? Are they too hot? What happened? My AirPods are being weird right now. I have my hardwire ones in case they're being funky. We'll let them... Because they were in, I ran out to get them out of the car, and they were cooking. So maybe that's what's up. Here, I'll use my regular headphones for the time being and get us through this. Oh, wait. Now they're awake. Okay. So there's just a delay. I see. All right. Hold on. Now it's good. All right. Yeah. So I drew this on a piece of paper, this symbol, that was like an Escher print of 4 arrows pulling at each other, but what makes their symmetry is the equal pull. And I used to call it the pull, now I call it the spark. But the idea is that you embrace all of you, and not just yes, I love beans. Yes, they will. So and this is also the symbol that's on the patch. And it represents kind of, I guess, a warts and all approach to some degree to humanity, but also to recognize that your goals are and your hobbies or distractions have equal measure in your humanity, and both have value. And if you look with derision at parts of yourself that are constant, it's a recipe for self-hatred. And so I kind of have always had this as a reminder, and our dear friend Rob Glenn made me a limited number of these. So there you go. And it is a little choppy in places. Hopefully, as my computer warms up, and thanks, Cosmic Rose, I appreciate that. I have not had a chance to look at the chat. So yesterday I drove to Los Angeles because I had, for those of you that may or may not know, I'm a Freemason, and our stated meeting, our one monthly meeting that is required versus the other optional ones that we have as get-togethers, is for our lodge is the first Tuesday of every month. And so this last night was our first one in 15 months because of COVID, and a lot of our members, because it's a lot of older men, genuine senior citizens, that it's been even more crucial to make sure that they are safe and healthy during this time. So everybody just kind of put a big pause on the get-togethers, and this was our first time back. It was really lovely to see the brothers again and get together. But because I wanted to play with my kid today and see him, instead of, I was going to be on Steph's show this morning. I'm not. I'm going to, obviously I wasn't, but I'm going to be on the 19th, day after my Flappers show, in about a week and change. And also at that gig, apparently, and this is semi-confirmed, Jay Leno will be making a guest appearance at my show at Flappers on the 18th. So if you're coming in there personally, he's trying out material, so we won't be streaming his portion of the show. But myself and whoever else the host is after, they'll definitely do. We'll definitely be streaming it for fans and friends and patrons and whatnot, live from Flappers that night. But that's kind of a cool thing. And then that next morning, I will be on Steph's show. I was going to be on today, but we thought better of it, moved it to then, and I was able to drive back last night. So basically, right after I was done, I got in my car and drove 4.5 hours back to Vegas overnight. So man, yeah, the Hal Sparks. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah. Apologies if it's a little choppy right now. I'm not quite sure what's causing that. Yay, Bicycle Mike. Awesome. Just let us know. Of course, all patrons at any level get to go to a show for free, and anytime I'm in your area, you can come and bring a guest for free. I obviously, people in the LA area, because of Flappers, that pays off more often. But if I come to your town, it kind of balances out for anybody who's like a $5 or $10 patron over time. As far as the cost of going out for the night, it shaves a lot of it off. It's like and so all you got to do is let me know when you're coming to the show, and I'll put you on my little special patron list, and it's cool that way. So that's going to be cool. The 18th, 19th, I will be on Steph's show in the morning. I'm filling in on Friday for Joan Esposito, so right before I do this show on Friday, I will also be live streaming, and I will be filling in for Joan Esposito. And because her show's just on the radio on CPT, I will do. It's kind of like the Saturday show. I'll be doing it. I'll set up and stream and just be on the whole time, if it doesn't kill my computer, which it very well may at this point. We don't know. All right, that's old business. Do we have any new business before I gavel in the show? Too bad about the pendant. I'm a patron of it too, but not long term, just several months. That's okay, Patricia. That's not like years and years. We'll get you there. I just have a first batch of them. I don't have that many of them because they were hand tooled, as it were. But we will get there. A Mason, do I do weddings? Yes, I do. I am ordained so I can do weddings. Anybody who's getting married, let me know. Reach out. And of course, I also am on the for our lodge, anyways. I'm on the funeral committee, so I also do Masonic funerals. It's a long story. What happened to the Boy Scouts? They just settled a lawsuit for millions of dollars. I think that, they had a Catholic Church issue in some ways with some of their scoutmasters. I don't know how that's the organization's fault unless they knew and shuffled people around, which I don't think is the case. Unlike the Catholic Church thing, that makes sense to me. Also, the Scouts, interestingly enough, there was all this stuff about Boy Scouts is discriminating against girls, so they shouldn't have, even though there is a Girl Scouts. The Boy Scouts dropped boy from their name and just became the Scouts, and then got sued by the Girl Scouts for trying to take girls out of the Girl Scouts and making them just join the Scouts organization. That's a big gnarly thing. So, right on. Welcome, new person, Dwells. Cool. Governor Abbott is a useless tool. This is true. Hal Sparks, I have a Patreon symbol now. I figured out how to forge it on my PC. Next time, I'll actually buy one. Oh, that's really cool. Really headed in the right direction. That's awesome. Figured out how to forge it on my PC. Do you have one of those glow forges? Because I just got a new 3D printer. I'm very excited about. I'm making a lot of stuff. I'll show you guys eventually when I get something that is impressive enough besides the test materials I've been doing. So yeah. Boy Scouts still discriminate against secular scouts? Secular scouts? What do you mean? You mean atheist scouts or something? Gotcha, PHK. I see. Yeah. Why don't I buy a new computer? Good point. We did, and the parts for it are on back order. And so hopefully it arrives Monday, fingers crossed. The 3D printer was it was after and not related to the show. That's other stuff. So the computer, fingers crossed, arrives Monday. So there you go. The 3D printer I got so that my son and I over the summer could print things together and work in 3D design and that kind of stuff and get him interested in 3D sculpting. So there you go. It is indeed, Anthony, is indeed a PC for streaming. So there you go. I don't remember religious brainwashing during my scout. Me too. Hey, you can hear me. Sorry, was it really quiet on that stream? I apologize. I know somebody took the show and uploaded it louder or something. I appreciate that. But anyways, let's get on with the show, shall we? We got plenty to talk about. First of all, it's quite obvious that today I'm going to cover the Trump little announcement about his lawsuit. But in looking through this stuff, and bless you, can't stop lying for finding this, the NSA thing that Tucker's been talking about, he went on and I guess on Maria Bartiromo's show and was interviewed about the NSA spying allegations. And this is on Fox Business Network. The Fox News host Tucker Carlson says he feels threatened after ousting the NSA. Outing. He didn't do either. He did not oust or out. Ousting the NSA for allegedly spying on him. Carlson discusses the act's potential threat to journalists, social media censorship, and his new Fox Nation show on Mornings with Maria. So it's an ad campaign. Let's at the very end, bury the lead, and his new Fox Nation show on Mornings with Maria. How do you solve a morning like Maria? Also, Maria Bartiromo is probably the lead point person at Fox for election fraud disinfo. If you want to get it all in one place, the Mike Lindell in drag is Maria Bartiromo, just for the record. Scooch it over to the left. Sorry. Here she is. So I'm curious what his defense of this nonsense is. Now, you need to go, let's lay it all out there just to be clear. I fundamentally call bullshit on Tucker Carlson's allegations against the NSA. Period. I don't buy any of it. It's not, and by the way, put that in a separate category from has the government spied on people in the past when J. Edgar Hoover was running the FBI where they told him 70 years ago, saying stuff that the U.S. government did when they were fighting the Soviets in the Cold War, and we now know that the Soviets would do everything and anything to place people in positions of government, media, and that kind of stuff. They're still doing it now. Of course, they did it back then when we were violent enemies and in a nuclear standoff. Get over yourself. Like, that's a whole other package. That's like saying we know there are. According to the FBI, at any given time, about 500 active serial killers in the United States, 10 per state. And some of these states, the bigger, that's why you live in highly populated states, so that there's more distance. Statistically, the chance of you running into them is way smaller than if you're in Idaho with the 9 other people that live there. But you come on and say that you dined and ditched on a meal, and you go, that wasn't me, that was probably one of the serial killers in our area. It's as absurd a claim as that, blaming your own crap behavior on that. My theory is that bad news is coming out. Something's going to leak on Tucker Carlson. It's going to undermine his America First illusion, and he is getting out ahead of it with this BS story. There you go. Oh, God. All right, here we go. I'm curious.
Said last.
Oh, right. Hold on. So I want to back this up too. Let's start back up. What are you doing, Maria? There you go.
The NSA spying. Tucker Carlson Tonight host Tucker Carlson said last week on his program that he has information.
Sorry, citation needed. Are you sure he's the host?
From a whistleblower showing that the NSA is spying on him and planning to leak sensitive communications to get his show canceled. Tucker joins us right now.
And he apparently just woke up and didn't realize that he had slept on that side of his head. They just, go on Maria's show. She lost a guest. Go on and promote your crap.
Tucker, it's great to have you this morning. Thank you so much for being here.
That's what the NSA said.
Oh, yeah. You're
Ew.
the only people I get up for, Maria. It's an honor to be here. Yeah, it's you don't go on TV lightly to say the government is spying on me because you
Sure you do.
sound like a crazy person.
You do sound like a crazy person.
And, of course, you would never say that unless you knew that it was true, and I did know.
No, there's absolutely thousands of reasons why an asshole like Tucker Carlson would lie about the intelligence community, the government of the United States, the intelligence apparatus, our national defense and national security, if it benefited him financially or on television, as far as viewers and ratings, and drew eyeballs because Fox's viewership is in the shitter.
I did know that it was true. Almost accidentally, I was in Washington for a funeral last week and ran into someone.
You were accidentally at a funeral?
I know well, who said, I have a message for you, and then proceeded to repeat back to me details from emails and texts that I sent and had told no one else about. So it was verified.
Well, obviously that's not true, because the details from the texts and the emails, they aren't texts or emails unless you've actually sent them. So there's another person involved in this exchange. The other person. Can we just fundamentally deal with the fact that this asshole wants you to think that emails are a single person endeavor, that text messages are a single person endeavor, and that whoever got that information from said email, and this is operating again on, I believe this is all bullshit, but let's operate within the fantasy bubble of his own premise, that the reason that whistleblower person is reading him his texts and emails is not because the NSA is following a criminal or a foreign agent or an enemy of the United States that Tucker Carlson is lippy and chatty with, and they saw that shit too. No, it's because they give a crap what Tucker Carlson's doing, that they want to shut his show down. Apparently, Fox also wants to shut his show down, so they're shoveling him over to Fox Nation on the website and giving him 2 shows. Remember, this is Tucker Carlson Originals? The fuck is this, a line of slacks? Tucker Carlson Originals.
And this person said, look, the NSA has this, and that was proven by the person repeating back the contents of the email.
Is that person in the NSA? Or are they friends with the person that you were talking to?
And is going to use it against you. Now, to be totally blunt with you, I would never have said this in public if it was something I felt was wrong or illegal or immoral. They don't actually have anything on me, but they do have my email. So But here's what the wrong or immoral or illegal part is that you are claiming that they have them, which we don't know, and it's also a false premise. We'll leave it at there. We'll put it in the pile with the existence of Tucker, or with Hunter Biden's laptop in our ever-growing steamy pile of Jurassic Park level bullshit, and the idea that what besides the immorality of making this whole thing up to cover his ass, is that this other person, who he won't name, is not, he is also not mentioning who that person is or what their position is, why they would know, or if they would even know. And if they do know, why did they know, and they're sharing it with him? Are they a journalist? Is this one of the other ways he's covering his ass because he was the source at Fox News, that Hannity's pissed that he was dishing about everybody else at Fox, all that nonsense? Is this his way of getting ahead of that? And secondarily, who were you emailing? They didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. I just said yes when they suggested we should overthrow the government. The word yes is not illegal.
I knew they were spying on me, and again, to be totally blunt with you, as a defensive move, I thought I better say this out loud because.
Why? Why? You're not doing anything illegal, immoral, or anything like that. Perhaps. Here's a good example. A director I worked with at one point did not know it, but he was dating a serial killer. He comes home one night. The cops show up at his door, and they go, "Does so-and-so live here?" And he goes, "Yeah." And they go, "Yeah, okay. You're his boyfriend?" "Yes." "You're going to need to come with us for your own safety." He's like, "What's going on?" "Your boyfriend has been murdering people and chopping them up. And totally unknown. And he's going to be home any minute. We're going to arrest him. And you need to come with us." And he did. He left, and they arrested this person. Now, he was in a full relationship with this person who was killing people. Found out, like, a horrifying story, right? If he'd have found out about this and went, "I didn't do anything. All I did was cook guy dinner every night, and we had our little gathering for our own. We were just he was my boyfriend. That's how we lived." If the cops came and said, "We know your boyfriend's killing people, and we have your communications with him," would you go out and go, "Oh, by the way, the cops apparently are, saying I'm talking to a serial killer," and then your boyfriend leaves and knows that they're onto him and he splits? There is another side to this, I'm saying, is that if the NSA is looking at the person he's communicating with in these emails, Tucker Carlson is tipping that person off that the NSA is following them or looking into them. No, it was not Jeffrey Dahmer, but it might as well have been.
Because I have no other way to defend myself. I'm just an American citizen. I don't have
citation needed.
Any position of official authority, but I do have a megaphone, so I should say this out loud, and I did.
Yeah, so it's called CYA, cover your ass.
And the NSA didn't deny it.
Yes, they did. They specifically denied your claim.
Then, yesterday, I learned that, and this is going to come out soon, that the NSA...
Well, yeah, I think it's going to come out soon right now, because you're about to say it.
Say, leaked the contents of my email to journalists in an effort to discredit me. I know because I got a call from one of them saying, "Oh, this is what your email was about." So it is not...
Okay, so is this the same journalist as the other person? And is the person that you're emailing leaking this shit and saying the NSA is doing this to cover their ass because they're the ones blackmailing you? Because you're in a tit for tat with somebody else at Fox. Who's on the other side of the emails? If you're not engaged in anything illegal and you're willing to say, out the NSA, the National Security Agency of the United States, and say that they're spying on me or whatever. Who else are they spying on? Who's the other person that you're emailing? The other innocent victim? Tucker, they're not a person in a position of authority, except in maybe the GRU, and maybe they need to know.
It's not in any way a figment of my imagination. It's confirmed. It's true. They're not allowed to spy on American citizens. They are.
No, they're not. No, they're not. If I email a Russian oligarch 65 times over the course of 3 days, and he starts doing shit based on things I've suggested in my email or vice versa, or I start doing shit based on stuff he suggested in his email, and they're spying on him because he's a threat to the United States and the national security of the country, they're not spying on me. They're spying on him, and I am interacting with a criminal. Who's the other person, Tucker? Who is it? Because I'm guessing if you mentioned it, people would start to go, "Oh, that's why the NSA might have your emails." Now, again, I don't believe any of this, but let's operate, again, within the fantasy bubble of what he's selling, so to cover the blackmail or whatever that, he doesn't have the $32 million that Bill O'Reilly paid out to his victim, or doesn't want to pay it, or Fox is threatening him about this. Believe me, there is a circle the wagons going on at Fox right now about all this bullshit. Like, they are having daily meetings, because he's expensive.
He's a big part of their weekly lineup. And they're brooming him to the fucking website?
I think more ominously, they're using the information they gather to put leverage and to threaten opposition journalists, people who criticize the Biden administration. It's happening to me right now.
How? What are they calling you out over? What part of it? I mean, they're not going after anybody else. Why are you fucking special? Do you have any, other than, you being buddies with a white supremacist who was posting anti-Semitic and anti-gay and anti-black and anti-immigrant screeds on right-wing websites under a fake name, and there is no way you didn't know that guy was doing that. You guys were buddies. You were like this, and this was him. That we're supposed to assume. Well, I want to hear the.
And I think it's shocking, and I don't think we should put up with it in a free country.
It's not shocking. It's just bullshit. And by the way, if this was genuine, you wouldn't be on Maria's show talking about this. But because it's anti-American propaganda from the pro-Trump wing of the Alex Jones slice of the Republican Party, the Loud Boys crowd, you're on Maria because that's where you spout this shit. You don't.
It's worse than shocking. This is the stuff of banana republics and third world countries.
Yes, it is true. In third world countries and banana republics, frequently journalists at networks paid for by Rupert Murdoch in those countries do make up shit about the government and create civil discord in those countries for financial gain. So that is kind of true. It is shockingly ridiculous. Yeah.
Tucker, there's no way that anybody else saw those emails. And this whistleblower.
Except the other person and anybody else in their circle and anybody that hacked their shit and anybody in Cozy Bear or Apartment 29 or Leather Bear or any of the Russian GRU outfits through Macedonia that hacked your buddy's shit so they could keep control of the Fox narrative.
Whistleblower relayed to you exactly what was in your communication. And there's no way anybody else could have seen those emails.
The other person saw them. All right, look. If it's an email, you wrote it and you put something in the address line. So another person saw that email. Who? I'm sick of this. This is the dumbest argument. For Christ's sake. Of course someone else saw it. And the other person is entirely possibly like the source of all the stuff coming out. Who are they, Tucker? Who were you emailing that the NSA, you weren't doing anything immoral or illegal? Who are they? If they're going to leak it and it's going to damage you, who are you talking to about damaging stuff? Who? If you're going, oh my God, all I have is a megaphone. I'm not a person in power or control. I can't possibly. Who are you talking to then? Are they? Were you emailing someone at the NSA and they're like, this motherfucker's trying to get me to kill people on the 6th?
There was one other person who knew that I sent the email, and it was my executive producer, Justin Wells. That's it.
Okay, so now we know your executive producer, Justin Wells, who may or may not have been pivotal in hiring the white supremacist dude that you were talking to, probably the guy you're talking to in these emails. And they're full of all kinds of like racist stuff, and that's what's going to be coming out. Just ballparking, just while we're at it. So your producer, you, and whoever the shit you sent it to, and their executive producer, whoever that would be. I don't know. Do they have executive producers at the GRU? What's the title?
And I didn't mention it to anybody else, including my wife. I mean, there's just no possible.
Well, why would you mention it to your wife
It's to a woman you're having an affair with, and that you're negotiating a payment to keep quiet because she was at the meeting with Matt Gaetz and the 12-year-old that he brought. I don't know what the fuck. Why would you tell your wife about your affair?
Possibility that anyone else could have known. And then again, yesterday, I got a call right before air.
Okay, NSA, Tucker Carlson's alleged national security has been, quote, monitoring our electronic communication. Yeah, right, electronic communications, and is planning, they said electric last time, I did it myself, is planning to leak them in an attempt to take this show off the air. Right, so that's his direct allegation. And they went, we are not monitoring his communications, and we have no interest in taking his show off the air.
Air at like 7:15 from
Oh,
a
thanks,
journalist I know
DeWells.
and like, not many left.
We love Richard, and I will often, when Richard is on after me, I'll we'll raid into his channel because he's a great man. We love him.
But I do like this person, and he repeated back to me what's in my email, and he got it because the NSA had leaked it. So
The NSA had leaked it, or he leaked it from the NSA? Because he was like, dude, the NSA is looking at your shit. Because the story's changing right now. We just heard the story change. Back up a second there, Tucker.
7:15 from a journalist I
Hold
know,
on,
anybody else, including my wife. I mean, there's just no possibility.
Oh, what are you looking at there? What was that? Did you guys see that? There's just no possibility. There's a lawyer present. Okay, that's what's up. So, standing over here, just off camera, is either a PR person, a lawyer from Fox News, an executive, or all three. And the Russian agent, Maria Buttina's twin sister that he's been, sending non-immoral dick pics to, whatever's in this. Yes, that's right. And reminder, thank you, Josh, you cannot leak a lie. If this admits this is a leak, it's true. Whatever comes out is true.
And I didn't mention it to anybody else, including my wife. I mean, there's just no possibility that anyone else could have known. And then again, yesterday, I got a call right before air at like 7:15 from a journalist I know and like, not many left, but I do like this person.
Well, especially after, everybody at Fox is pissed at you for shit-talking them behind the scenes.
And he repeated back to me what's in my email, and he got it because the NSA had leaked it. So
No, he got it because your friend who called you that said the NSA had it leaked it. Whoever your buddy was the first time who said the NSA has this, who may or may not have been lying, sent that to journalists because you fucked with them, and this is all part of that. I mean, honestly.
So, yes, it's entirely real, and I thought long and hard before saying it because, you're...
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You found out almost immediately and it started spouting about it right about the time the network books came out that showed that Fox viewership was off by 70%. That's it.
Your credibility is the currency, of course, if you're on television.
So you're broke, is what you're saying.
And you don't want to seem delusional or like a conspiracy nut or a crazy person. I try to be...
You don't seem like it. You are. And by the way, I take that back. He doesn't seem like he's delusional or a conspiracy nut. He's just a liar. And he's grifting his own audience to cover his ass because some shit is coming out.
Try to be fact-based.
You try to be fact-based. Sometimes you whiff it. Sometimes you say gravity's an idea. And you're just spitballing. You say a lot of stuff when you're talking on air. It's a live conversation.
To the extent that we can. And
yeah, you can't expect to be factual on a show like Tucker's.
And not be crazy and not say things that we can't prove, but this is...
You cannot prove this.
Actually true.
No, it isn't. You cannot prove this. Again, understand what's being said here. Listen to these words, and this isn't just about Tucker Carlson and this particular bullshit story. I need you to understand this, folks. You have to look at this for what it is. This is how people talk when they are deflecting and burying something. And the way Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity both talk to their crowd is they set up a fictional premise that they acknowledge is fictional. And then in the very next breath, they reference said fiction as established fact. It's an Ayn Rand thing. Or like Scientology. I remember when Dianetics came out,
I read it amongst a bunch of other books I read in high school, like self-help books, back before Scientology, was the church we know it of today. There were ads on TV, like, why do I do this crap all the time? When, page 184, if you remember those ads. I read the book in 87. And the first 3 chapters are basically about, like, brain science and habitual behavior. And then the rest of it references the first 3, like I said in chapter 2, like, fuck you. Either introduce new information in chapter 12, or don't send me back to stuff I've already read that's your theory that has no basis in fact. And 10 chapters later, I'm supposed to go, oh, that's true. He said it a little while ago. That was totally true. That's exactly the same thing.
And by the way, they essentially confirmed it. I had a shouting match last week with
By the way, we watched this chunk where he talked about this, and no, they didn't.
NSA officials, where I asked them point blank. They said, well, you're not a target of an investigation, which is a term of art used in the so-called...
That was actually your term of art. They are, what was it? Like, you just showed the fucking clip. Just showed the quote. They are monitoring our email communications, right?
Intel community. And I said, stop with your BS. Were you reading my emails or weren't you? Well, we're not going to respond to that. Really? You're not going to tell me whether you're reading my emails. Clearly you were. Why can't you tell me? We can't respond to that. So in other words, they won't answer your questions. They won't tell you why they won't answer your questions.
I'll tell you why they won't answer your questions, dipshit. They're the NSA. Do you understand that I can find out stuff about you by monitoring, just listen, I can talk to someone and have a conversation with them. And I can tell by the topics you avoid what you're doing. I can tell by when you deny something specifically, that tells me that you are either absolutely doing it because you wouldn't even know to deny it. Like they're like, where were you about 9:30? Well, I wasn't on the train where the body was found. How'd you know where the body was found? You know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. It's baseline. The NSA is not going to tell you anything they don't have to tell you. And you don't get to bait them into what they do or don't do because you need ratings. They're going to answer your specific claim and they're going to tell you to piss off. I don't get why he thinks he's special.
And it's just like, shut up and obey, surf.
Yeah, that's what they said. No, they didn't say shut up and obey, surf. File a lawsuit. Are you telling me you can't afford a lawyer? Dude makes what, $35-40 million a year? Honestly, the ACLU would pick up this case for free for Tucker Carlson if it was true. It's bullshit.
They don't owe you an explanation.
Yeah.
They do not owe you an explanation just because you are creating a fantasy on air and selling a narrative to cover your ass because emails are going to come out showing everybody that you were like playing footsie online with a white supremacist. Piss off. And that you're having an affair with who is also a Russian agent who is involved in the murder of Khashoggi.
My view is I'm a 52-year-old American citizen who pays his taxes and obeys the law.
We're the same age? Damn, dude.
You can't treat me like I'm a peasant.
They don't. They're treating you like everybody else. Fuck off.
I'm an American citizen. This is a republic.
Yeah. One would even think a democracy. See the little Republican versus Democrat, why he said it's a republic. You gotta plant that seed, right, Maria? Yeah, get a lawyer. Fight it. Sue the government. Try to get a FOIA. What are you talking about?
You can't.
You should hire Rudy Giuliani and not pay him. It's all pro bono for Rudy.
You can't talk to me that way. You can't talk to any American citizen.
Sure they can. Yes, they can. And by the way, this is the asshole who believes that, Chauvin should have been set free. So, you can't talk to the NSA can't talk to somebody, but, a beat cop who's literally kneeling on your neck for 9 minutes is just doing his job. Holy hell.
Citizen that way. Who do you think you are?
They're the NSA. I think they're the NSA. Although, I would like to say also that I don't believe this conversation bullshit anyways.
You running your own country or something? No, you're a federal bureaucrat.
Unbelievable.
And you owe me.
Yes, true, Maria. That's the truest thing you said. Unbelievable. As in, not believable.
An explanation. That's my opinion. I'm sorry. I've lived here my whole life. I feel like they owe that to me.
They don't owe you shit. You pay, as a matter of fact, we all pay our taxes so the NSA doesn't blather to dickheads on Fox like you. Why in the world? Look, I understand the importance of governmental transparency, but can we just stop pretending for a second that anything you tell Tucker Carlson isn't going to end up in Sergei Lavrov's ear? Seriously. Or, I mean, the reason why we have the FOIA Act and why there's an actual, arbitration process in it is because some shit, if it gets out, will get lots of people murdered. Honestly, you don't get to walk into any police department in the middle of an ongoing investigation and go, "Are any of my friends dragged into that?" Hey, I saw a brown sedan in front of my buddy's house. Are you guys listening to his phones? Who's your buddy? That's not important. You tell me. I'm American. Fuck off.
Yeah, and the statement that we just put on the screen from the NSA
Directly responds to your direct accusation.
again doesn't deny it, but
Yeah, because it's not their fucking job to blather about techniques or what they are and aren't doing at any given time. It's like, okay, World War II, the Allies didn't put a lot of inflatable tanks and airplanes, big balloons that look like tanks on the northern front to make the German Luftwaffe that were flying over the area think, oh my God, they're amassing tanks at the border up here. So we should send forces up there, and it was a distraction. If Winston Churchill had gone, ladies and gentlemen, the important thing that you must all know is that all our gathering of tanks on the northern front are all balloons. Wonderful birthday party we'll be throwing. What's the point? Why would you? And then it's like, I have a right as a British citizen. I should know. You should tell me if those tanks parked on the north are really fucking tanks. Are those balloons are real fucking tanks? And don't just say it in English. Say it in German as well. God damn, this dude's an asshole.
but plays word games and says what the NSA does in terms of monitoring foreigners.
Right. Yeah. Who were you talking to, Tucker? This is your moment. Tucker, this is it. Maria's setting you up, helping you out. She's trying to help you. And this is the moment where you go, the person in the emails isn't even a foreigner.
Right. That's exactly right. And what's so striking to me is, look,
The person isn't foreign?
I'm out of step with most people in journalism in Washington. Most of them are
Because you're not a journalist?
defenders of the Biden administration. They see themselves as Democratic Party operatives, et cetera, et cetera. But we're still all journalists. I mean, our job is
No, you're not a journalist. You're not a journalist. You don't even keep a journal. That's how far from journalist you are.
still roughly the same to gather information and give it to our readers and viewers. And this is a massive threat, not simply to me and my show, or you.
Hold on. Again, folks, I can't let this slip by. Maria set him up and said they cover foreign entities. And this was Tucker's moment to go, the person in the emails, I don't want to say who they are because it's not their issue. They're not a, blah, 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 but they are not, they're American citizens too. He didn't say that, did he, though? Did you hear him say that? No, you didn't. You didn't go, the person I was talking to is in an allied country even. He could have said they cover foreign threats, but the person I was talking to is in Europe, but they're in an allied country. Like all of these, I think Hal should speak with a different accent each day throughout the whole show. Yeah, I'll do a whole I gotta do a whole show like Skynese we'll just do all that, We'll do it everywhere Rupert Murdoch's got a show, yeah? Right.
Or you and your show, but to journalism itself, to the idea.
Yeah, we're so afraid. Reporters all over the place will be too scared to drop N-bombs to their mistress in Russia via email if
Of a free press. You can't have a free press
if you charge people for it on 3 different sources.
the intel agencies.
By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, patreon.com/Hal Sparks. Super chat. Super chat will always be super chat to me. Good old super chat. 666 will help me.
Are secretly spying on you and then using that information.
They're not secretly spying on you. They're spying on who you were talking to. And who the fuck were you talking to? Tucker. Who the fuck are you talking to, man? Bring them on. Have them as a guest on your show. Read the emails like a play.
Information to threaten you and to control you. Like this.
They're not. They have done none of those things. Your friend is threatening and controlling you. Your friend is saying the NSA read these emails. And by the way, I don't know how, but somebody, a journalist friend of yours now has them. I don't know how they got them though. Where is any of the proof that the NSA is involved in this shit at all? Whistleblower.
This is a huge problem for the country. And yet, I don't think there was, outside of, say, Glenn Greenwald.
Uh-huh. Gee, Glenn Greenwald. Strange bedfellows.
I don't think that there was anybody who stood up and said, wait a second, this is a huge problem for all of us. Instead, they...
Yeah, no, that's because Glenn Greenwald is a sap, a sycophant, and wants your job. And you, he buys your lies because he uses the same lie himself. You both drink from the same lie trough. So that's why he's supporting this. The same reason that Dershowitz is supporting you. Same bullshit. You guys all drink from the same lie trough.
Instead, they made excuses for the NSA. Well, you must have been, emailing with threatening foreign actors. Well, I'm allowed to email with anyone I want.
Okay, so there it is. There it is, kids. I'm sorry. What was this? Is this how you would talk about this shit?
Anybody who stood up and said, wait a second, this is a huge problem for all of us. Instead, they made excuses for the NSA. Well, you must have been, emailing with threatening foreign actors. Well, I'm allowed to email with anyone I want, for one thing. I'm a journalist.
Right.
And I'm an American, more importantly. It's none of your...
Yeah, it's none of your business if I'm coordinating with foreign countries to disseminate disinformation for sanctioned countries and therefore would be subject to financial sanctions because of my relationship with them, in the same way that if I was selling machine parts for a nuclear reactor to Iran, I would also be in the same legal difficulty. By the way, total admission. Notice, honestly.
None of your business who I'm emailing with. If you...
Yeah, it is. It's the fucking NSA. It's the... National security is their business.
think I'm committing a crime, then charge me with it.
It's they don't think you're committing a crime. They may think, for example, there's many reasons. One, that they're watching you gathering evidence on the crime you are currently committing. That you are what you're doing is unethical in terms of your employer and your status as an American citizen, but not technically illegal. But the person you're talking to is planning to kill a bunch of people, spray shit in their faces as they walk through a park in Germany, for example, spitballing here, or grinding someone up in a meat grinder in a Turkish embassy, stuff like that. And that's the kind of stuff they have to keep an eye on. And you are helping them get their story straight.
And if I'm not committing a crime, then please leave me alone. I have a right to communicate in private with other people because...
guys, this is the First Amendment version of open carry. Look, I have the right to carry this gun with me, and you have no right to check and see if it's full auto.
and you cannot do anything about it until I walk in the front door of the school and open fire, because until that moment, I am a law-abiding citizen. So you have no right whatsoever to tap me on the shoulder going, hey, pal, come here. Can I see some ID? Where the fuck are you going? Why are you walking around this peaceful neighborhood with 2 clips duct taped together and 6 more on your hip as you walk towards a school? Did your kid go to school there? Did you used to be a student? You have no right to ask me that. Yeah, I kind of do. It's protect and serve, that whole thing. Like if you turn out to be fine, you can tell me and go on your way. I'm not stopping you anyway. I'm doing the same thing I do to anybody else. Equal protection under the law. But for public safety, I might need to ask you a couple questions so I know what the fuck is going on. You understand? And the more of an asshole you are, the more concerned I am that you mean ill to the people you're going for, and I'm going to need to keep you here for a little bit longer, and we're going to need to delay whatever plans you had until school lets out. Tucker Carlson may or may not have asked that 15-year-old Russian, out on a date, but it might have looked like he was about to. I mean, the NSA might have been Chris Hansening Tucker for all we know. I didn't do anything illegal. I just asked her how old she was and what bra size she wears. Both totally legal questions.
Because I'm, again, an American citizen and a human being. But journalists...
Citation needed. I'm 100% convinced if there are lizard people on Earth that eat baby juice, Tucker's one of them. This is like, both of these assholes look like a cut scene from the new V series.
Journalists made...
By the way, why is there not a new V series? Netflix, get on that shit. I mean, if you could do like deep reads on Lizards Among Us as a series, you could make that. If they could make The Americans go that long.
Excuses for this behavior, for the intel agencies' criminal behavior. It's like mind-boggling to me.
I'm sorry. So, what would happen? Let's say. If it wasn't the NSA? What if, I'm just spitballing here, Rudy Giuliani got a hold of your emails and started selectively putting them out to make you look like shit? And by the way, manipulated and added text or took text out for context, added photoshopped and deepfaked pictures of you or videos of you that were provided to him by foreign agents. And that's, I mean, you're an American, allegedly a human being.
Me.
And this is exactly why we wanted you on this program, because...
Yeah, that's why you wanted him on. He's on to pitch his show. Look, he's not doing this from home. He's not in a fucking bunker. Seriously, I want you guys to think about this for a second. If the NSA was after you, I mean, besides what do you do? Blue Thunder your way through it? Thank you, K-Fresh. Tucker is definitely scared.
Because we agree with you, this is wrong.
Yes, it's wrong. It's wrong for him to lie like this. It's wrong to make this kind of shit up. It's wrong to lie about patriots that work for the safety of American citizens like this just to cover your own ass because emails between you and a white supremacist Russian agent living in Germany with brand new aftermarket boobs is going to come out.
It must be stopped, and the politicizing of all of these government agencies is out of control.
It's not actually happening, Maria. Maria, understand this. Again, this is the create false premise and then act as if the false premise has been proven.
From the NSA to the Department of Defense to the IRS.
Yes, why isn't there a remake of it? I agree. You know what I mean? I think it could, yeah. Hold on. We're gonna... Okay.
Now, do you think that the NSA is doing this on their own, or is it being...
Yeah. Maria, if I may, I don't believe the NSA is doing this.
Being directed by the Biden administration?
Well, they are part of the Biden administration, though they seem to operate independently of any political control. I mean,
right. Because like the military, the national security, if they give a shit about Democrat versus Republican, it puts us all in danger because it makes them available to pressure that could lead to half the country being murdered. This is so stupid.
I mean, again, in the U.S. government, all the power rests with the people who were elected because this is supposed to be a democracy. No agency is supposed to act independently of elected officials, period.
Right. But the elected officials can't supersede the law and stop them from protecting the United States if that's their mandate. Nobody can say, for example, and I know Trump tried to stand down the NSA and CISA so that they wouldn't protect us from Russian attack, and people were fired or resigned because they refused that pressure. But that doesn't mean they could tell them not to and make that pressure actually override their constitutional duty. No Paul Gosar can walk in and go, I'm a representative of dipshit Iowa and Texas, and you guys need to stop looking at Sergei Lavrov's Grindr account. None of them, whatever, I don't know that he has one. Probably has one of all of them, right? You'd have an account everywhere, wouldn't you? If you were, do you GRU, bro? He doesn't have the right, because he's an elected official, to override the duty of a law enforcement officer.
So, I don't know. Here's what I do know. And
there'll be a short list.
And I know it on direct authority that the NSA...
No, you don't. I know it. Listen to that sentence. I know it on direct authority. The fuck does that mean? I know it on direct authority?
Routinely gives information on American citizens to the Justice Department, to the FBI, which it then uses in its intel division. Now, that's illegal. They're not allowed to spy on American citizens.
They're not. They're spying on foreign agents. And holy shit, why are you talking to this person who's got plans to attack the United States? A lot. Privately. And here's this is the bigger question. Let's just say, kids, you had a big television show on let's say, Cox News. And you as a journalist did kind of insider reports with some people. And you even interviewed and talked to El Chapo. And you did 60 Minutes. Like 60 Minutes contacts people, sometimes like cartel leaders that are all, their faces all fuzzed out.
I was talking like this, I never knew there were.
Like, those interviews. Would anybody at 60 Minutes think they were being spied on if the DEA saw the emails that were coming into that person's email from their producer? And would they panic about it? They go, no, we conducted an interview. It's not a problem. We at Cox News do this all the time. So our emails to that person were conducting an interview. It's not scary at all. And they weren't looking at us. They were obviously looking at them. I mean, when I started texting El Chapo pictures of my nuts, it got a little personal. But that was the only... I talked to my executive producer about it. I CC'd him on all the nut shots. And when I sent them to El Chapo, that was he wouldn't give us the interview unless I showed him my testicles. And so we at Cox News will do whatever it takes to get the story. And we stand by all my nut shots, right? At some point, if you're saying I talk to anybody, I talk to leaders around the world, and this because I'm a journalist, and you would know that in your talking to that person, the NSA, or the CIA, or anybody in the intelligence community might pick up that conversation, because you'd have to be a fucking moron to not think that they're paying attention to the chatter on the internet, via electronic communications with dangerous foreign actors all the time. And you wouldn't take it personally. Why would you take it personally? I should do Cox News as one of my other flank.com/infotainment wars. Okay. All this talk about nuts is making you hungry. It happens. Should make your forehead sweaty. I'm kidding. Look, the point I'm trying to make is that if you emailed like there's a Netflix series. I think it might be on Amazon. I don't know. It comes up in my scroll. I haven't watched it yet. But it's about this girl went missing, and her friend and another person started emailing the person that they thought killed her, making it look like she had survived. And so that person was like, oh shit, she's threatening me, but she was dead. And they tricked this person into believing that this person was still alive, and then, sort of incriminating themselves. If those two people doing that, where they were tricking this person, found out that and this person had fled to Mexico, that the NSA or Interpol or the FBI, which does do federal criminal cases on criminals that leave the country, if they had found out that their emails and communications were picked up in that thing, they wouldn't be shocked or surprised. They'd go, yeah, we were doing this. This is the whole thing. And you're not spying on us. I understand that. You're spying on that person because they're a fleeing fucking murderer. And I have no illusions that a functioning government would be able to keep track of the worst of the worst. And this asshole thinks that he can chit-chat with Holocaust-denying white supremacists who are forming a far-right uprising in Germany with Russian money, and it's not going to show up on anybody's radar? What?
That law has been on the books for a long time. The NSA is designed to monitor foreign communications from our potential enemies. People.
Right. So how do communications work, Tucker? How do they work? Remember, you guys know what a phone looks like? Hold on. I know I have one around here somewhere. Let's see. Yeah. Let me give you an example, if I may. Be right there. Hold on. All right. Tucker, what's a good analogy I can give for Tucker? See this thing? Remember these guys? Remember that? Hi, how you doing? Yeah, I don't know. What are you wearing? Remember these? You notice they have two parts to them? Why does it... Tucker, what the fuck is this part for on a phone? What's it for? Why wouldn't you... Tucker, why wouldn't you just have this part? Isn't communication simply a rhetorical device? Or a device, rather? Why do you need this part? Oh, right, this is where you hear from the other person. Communication is only communication if it goes two directions. I don't have to tap the person who's talking into this end if I have a tap on the person who's in this end. And why the fuck are you using this end to talk to the person I'm tapping in this end who's fucking dangerous? And if you are, why are you not letting us know if it's for the case of doing the show and this kind of like, hey, by the way, we're flying in a multiple murdering serial killer who knows state secrets from another country, and we might want to give you guys the heads up. I'm sorry. Some of you may not be familiar with that device. That was a phone. I have if you don't usually use it, this one's kind of another brand. So this side, hello, Dr. Carlson, please. Yes, tell him I'm sitting in cafe crossroad. Yes, but whatever you do, if you hear a click on the line, is not NSA, is KGB, is FSB. I will tell you this whole thing. Yes. Absolutely. I'm wearing a blue shirt, wearing a white carnation, and no pants. Right. No, that's the great part of live streaming. So I don't need pants at all. This is not. Yes. Okay. What was that noise? Did you hear that noise? I hear noise. Oh, yes, I can hold. So weird. NSA has the weirdest hold music. I think it's Vertical Horizon. I love those guys. Anyways, yes, I've become Carrot Top in my pet in my sorry. Okay, so just my point is that it's not communication. It's this without this part. It's just a microphone. Dumb son of a bitch.
People who threaten the United States, not from American citizens.
Who might be talking to people who are threatening the United States. What part of that is hard? Seriously.
But it is routine, and I got this from 2 FBI agents, who would know.
What, the clap?
not just field guys, people work at headquarters. This is a daily thing. Yes, we get information from the NSA on Americans and we use it in our investigations.
Really? Gee, you mean they go through proper fucking channels? American citizen or American here on, or a person here on a green card or a resident alien in the United States is contacting, I don't know, let's just, ISIS. And the NSA picks up that that fucker is talking to people from ISIS. Not because they're monitoring that person, they don't know who the fuck that person is. They're monitoring ISIS. And they go, holy shit, this dipshit clique of January 6th insurrectionists are getting pipe bomb information from a dude who works for ISIS. And we can't do anything about it because we're the NSA. So we call the FBI. That's what you're supposed to do.
Really? What?
Yes, that's literally legally their obligation. What the?
And there's supposed to be oversight of this by the Congress, by the Intel Committee.
There is.
And there's not. I spoke
There is.
to a member of the Intel Committee 3 years ago who told me
3 years ago?
my face that he was being spied upon by the NSA and CIA.
No, who alleged he was being spied upon. Spied upon?
Hey, this is not a homeless guy in the subway. This is a sitting member of the Intel Committee who said the people he was supposed to be overseeing were spying on him, and there's nothing he can do about it. That's a totally dysfunctional, out of control third world system.
No, it isn't. Unless you're talking about the fact that a criminal agent for a foreign power is a sitting congressman. Who? Who said this, Tucker? Who? Fucking hell.
Last administration did not fix it to their, I'm sorry to say it, but they didn't. They should be embarrassed of that. They should have. And this administration is
Fix what? They used it.
benefiting from it. Somebody needs to step up and say, this is
I'm not genuinely upset. I'm actually enjoying this. Fear not, Espel. Thank you.
scary, and we have to stop it now.
Well, not as embarrassed as the administration before in the Obama administration, where
That's
you
right.
had significant spying going on. And in the last election,
No, you didn't.
the intelligence agencies were used to disaster one candidate. Let's not forget
To disaster a candidate? Is disaster a verb?
the garbage
That's right.
dossier.
The garbage dossier? The one paid for by was it the Washington Free Beacon? I always get them mixed up with the Examiner. And then sold to the DNC and Clinton, and they didn't use it because they thought it was gross. And so he went to McCain and to other people at the FBI because he's like, this is real.
And the fact that they used that dossier to take down Donald Trump, and it was all an idea from Hillary Clinton's foreign policy advisor. And
No, it wasn't.
yet we still don't have the media calling this out
I'm calling out your bullshit and his bullshit. Does that count?
away from Fox News
Thank you,
and Fox
Bob.
Business and some in the Wall Street Journal. So why wouldn't they spy and abuse their power, Tucker, when
That's
they
right.
know that there are no consequences for it?
Well, that's such a
It's so true, Maria. Thank you. Thank you, Maria, for bringing that up. And by the way, I think you're right. There's no such thing as too much filler. Listen, and I'm not talking about your lips, I'm talking about your show. Listen, we both know that we are, the NSA is more afraid of you and me than of, like, anybody. I can prove it. They just said white supremacists are the biggest domestic terror, racially elite-specific minor threat within the subcategory of domestic terror in the country. And so it must be me. It must be.
such a wise point. And one of the reasons they
It's a wise point. She's so wise. She's so wise.
don't want to pursue the story is because they would have to concede, in effect, that Trump was right, that he was being spied on by
No, he wasn't.
the Department of Justice and by
No, Sergei Lavrov was being spied on because he's a fucking danger to the earth.
the CIA. Now, I have to say, not only are the media not doing their job, which is to
Which is, that we're watching that happen right now. I like to think myself as media in my own little way.
Hi. But certainly Tucker Carlson original bullshit is not doing its job.
To push back against the abuse of power on behalf of the country and its citizens.
What abuse of power? There is none. As a matter of fact, even the allegations he's making, again, if they're true, within the fantasy bubble of his bullshit, is that the NSA is looking at foreign actors and finding out that Tucker Carlson is talking to somebody awful, and what he's saying in the shit is dangerous and is concerning, so they refer it to the FBI, which is what they're supposed to do.
But they're participating in it. Ben Smith of BuzzFeed, who is now a columnist at the New York Times, when he ran BuzzFeed, uncritically the entire dossier. Basically, he took a dump,
Which is what I think you actually should call your show. He took a what?
Ran BuzzFeed, uncritically the entire dossier. Basically, he took a dump, an intel dump from the...
Well, thanks for clarifying.
From the spy agencies, and
unlike your opening monologues, which are just a plain old dump.
Just ran it. Just took their propaganda and just kind of put it out there.
And people could judge for themselves, you mean? You mean like without any, judgment for that? Like, here's the whole thing. You can look at it and you can believe it or not. You leave it up to the American people to decide whether there's a there or there isn't. Clearly, there was an even split in people that believed it and didn't believe it when it first came out. And then, of course, it was about what could be verified and what could not. Yeah, it was his closing monologue is called The Upper Decker in an ironic sense. Yeah,
for political reasons.
And it is true that Tucker Carlson show is the equivalent news-wise for journalism. In terms of journalism, is the equivalent of saran wrapping a toilet.
He was willingly used by these actors, and that is...
No, he wasn't willingly used. They got a hold of it. It was newsworthy. People were curious what was in it, so they put it out there to basically sell ad space. I mean, that's why they posted it, not because it was true or it was right. It's because everybody wanted to see it. I mean, understand it. That is the political equivalent of, I don't know, spitballing a camera phone picture of Tucker Carlson's nuts sent to Maria Butina and Bartiromo by accident because she was CC'd.
And that is kind of exactly the opposite of what you're supposed to be doing as a journalist. You're not supposed to be a tool of some creepy federal intel agency.
No, you're supposed to be a tool of dangerous foreign actors. And if any of the national security apparatus of your country looks into it, you have to go on your show and push back on it. Otherwise, the foreign actor that has you by the short and curlies will release all the white supremacist emails.
That's kind of not your job, but that's what he did and many did.
Yeah. And unfortunately...
Unfortunately, my executive producer is making me keep you on the show.
During the Trump era,
Era. You mean the 3.5 years where he actually was capable of doing something, and the 2 where he actually did, and the 1 that you could kind of cram all the stuff that he managed to get past or whatever, and then the 6 days of it that actually kept, namely the corporate tax cut.
Journalists out there, quote unquote, should be ashamed of their unwillingness and they were incapable of actually covering them fairly. I want to take a break, but I want to talk.
Yeah, I think I would take a break too, because Tucker needs to run some things by the Fox attorney and the PR person that's standing just off camera that's helping him with damage control, because they've got this is part of obviously a crisis team that they put together.
Talk to you more about this and also get your take on what you're seeing from government agencies, big tech, and the Chinese Communist Party. Because
it's all tied together.
Because it's all looking really very similar right now. We've got to get into it. We're talking with Tucker Carlson this morning. We are also going to get news on his latest episode of his Fox Nation series, Tucker Carlson Original. Stay with
What's it called? Sorry?
us. We'll be right back.
No.
Welcome back. I'm back with Tucker Carlson, who has been...
Who looks like someone who's being spied on by the National Security Agency of the most powerful country in the world with the biggest military in the world, times 6.
Spied on by the NSA.
Bullshit. Allegedly. Maria, for real.
for fucking real. Allegedly.
Welcome back. I'm back with Tucker Carlson, who has been spied on by the
Bullshit. Again. I honestly, if it wasn't a government agency, they'd be suing him already.
NSA. They do not deny spying. They will not admit to it either. But he has had the courage to call out hypocrisy. And Tucker, now
Yeah, that's what he's calling out.
we're seeing this partnership with big tech and big government as these agencies are obviously getting politicized. I want to get your take on
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the NSA tweeted, and clearly their Twitter account is like a government account, specifically.
this New Zealand university professor. He says Twitter temporarily
Oh, it's kind of like our college is like a circle, but not like a real circle, like a freaky circle.
restricted her account after she mocked Chinese President Xi Jinping. This professor
The who, sorry?
restricted her account after she mocked Chinese President Xi Jinping. This professor was making fun of the CCP's 100th anniversary celebrations, and two of her tweets were marked unavailable. Your take on why Twitter would make her tweets unavailable because she said something that Xi Jinping did not like?
Well, I don't know what the rules are in New Zealand.
Well, because they finally pulled off the mask. I mean, it's, if you want to know who's in charge, who can't you criticize? And of course, the Chinese are ultimately who the tech companies care about.
I as someone who was traveling in China kind of extensively right up till COVID happened, and who speaks Chinese and who knows quite a bit about the country from being there, has anybody noticed a couple of tweets I had over the last week, specifically because of stories that were coming out criticizing both the CCP and the Chinese government? Anybody? Like, I mean, like my video yesterday, I spent a quarter of the show talking about how I actually think the population figures in China are overblown in an attempt to make them look like a bigger force in the world than they actually are. And if people found out that they probably have closer to 600 million people as opposed to 1.3 billion, which is like worldwide Chinese population everywhere, expats and Chinese people who are lived third generation in other countries, I didn't have a problem with that.
And it kind of,
It was a New Zealand professor. Again, I don't know what the fuck this has to do with the NSA chasing Tucker, but this is like the same thing. It's totally like the same thing.
kind of, I mean, Jack Dorsey doesn't need any more money. He's the kind of nose-ringed ayahuasca enthusiast who runs Twitter, but he's actually a very powerful person in American life. A lot of our most important conversations unfold on Twitter, unfortunately, but that's true. So he has a lot.
Really? Getter's not doing it for you? Get her done. Come on, get her. Get on, get her. Because shitter was taken.
Of control over speech in this country.
Thank
and
you,
he
sweet
cares
Indigo.
much more about what the Chinese government thinks, and I think it's a business consideration, than he cares
Yes. 普通话。我会说中文。
about the ability of normal people to exercise their right of free speech. But it's shocking, and you
The fuck does that have to do with us?
kind of wonder, like, where's the Congress in this? So
The Congress in what? It's a multinational company, and the countries that it operates in have different rules than we do.
most of us, I mean, you and I have platforms, thank heaven, so we have some recourse. If we're wronged, we can say
Yeah, you got 3 shows now. It's almost like they're trying to move you to a website to hide whatever's coming out.
so on TV, and lots of people can hear about it. But in the end, we don't have real power. We can't change laws. We can't command troops. The only people
Well, that's not fair. I mean, January 6th, you could argue that you did precisely that.
who can stand up for free speech in the Western world right now are Republicans in the U.S. Congress. I mean,
What? Well, we'll get to this, by the way. We'll get to this whole talking point when we jump over to the Trump announcement right after this.
that's really, it's
Yeah, Getter got hacked right away.
kind of left to them. And
Getter!
unfortunately, most of them are very mediocre and dumb and afraid, but they have to step up because there's nobody else to.
Yeah, because that's what you want. I want dumb people who are afraid to stand up and protect me from a real threat. Wouldn't you want somebody who's dumb and cowardly to step aside?
Else to step up. There's no one else to protect, again, not just the right of Americans, but of the entire West.
The entire West.
Say what is true and to push back against entrenched power. Like, where are they? Why are they allowing this? Seriously.
But it's
Seriously. Why are they not stopping the NSA from doing their actual job? And when confronted with a criminal within the continental United States that's a citizen, why are they not stopping them from handing over the investigatory power about it to the FBI? Because that's what legally they're responsible for doing. Why?
isn't it really
Isn't it really bullshit?
sorry state of affairs when journalists are not even sticking up for free speech?
No.
I mean, look at this. The CCP is surveilling its citizens every day.
Right. And?
Now we see little pockets of situations similar, like Tucker Carlson getting spied on by the NSA.
How the fuck is that related? What are you talking about? The Chinese are putting Uyghurs in concentration camps. It's exactly like me getting a boot on my car for not paying my parking tickets. Get the fuck out of here.
Are there no journalists left to actually call out this hypocrisy aside from us? I mean, we have been...
You're not journalists. And I'm not a journalist. I'm just a genius. And I'm here to call you out on your bullshit and your hypocrisy.
Spotlighting and calling out the CCP for so many years now, but it has gotten dangerous. Do they not recognize who they are in bed with just because they've got dollar signs in their eyes to sell to 1.4 billion people? And big tech is just the beginning of it. Don't even get me started about the financials.
That's right. Because
Get started about the financials. Tucker will glaze over and none of your audience will understand.
people's lowest instinct, this is an ugly feature of human nature, is...
Was this in the emails? This was what you were discussing with Sergei Lavrov's stepdaughter?
to suck up to power, to kiss up and spit down, unfortunately. And
That's right.
part of what it means to be...
That's, by the way, when they do team building exercises at Fox News, they're called kiss up and spit down exercises. That's actually how they...
a dignified adult is to fight back against those instincts, protect the weak, fight the powerful when appropriate. I mean, that's kind of our...
That's one of my favorite rap songs. Fight the power when appropriate.
job. And journalists, ultimately, it's not even a left-right question. They suck up to those in charge, and they hurt those below them. And I think it's really ignoble. I think it's disgusting, honestly.
How do you feel about fake journalists, like opinion people who just make shit up out of whole cloth for ratings? What's your opinion on that? I mean, it's what's the over-under on its value?
You are putting a spotlight on all of this in your
No, he isn't. He's putting a spotlight on himself, dipshit.
new series, your Fox Nation series, as well as every night on Tucker Carlson Tonight. But tell me about Tucker Carlson Originals. You're
Yeah, tell us about it. It's wonderful. Is it a baking show? It sounds like cooking.
out with a new episode. Surviving Disorder deals with regular Americans who experienced anarchy and risked everything for the safety and security of themselves or their families.
Oh, you mean police officers? Like that guy? Surviving Disorder. Great. Basically, Tucker Carlson's interviewing preppers now.
Have a clip. Let's show it, and then I want to hear about it. Watch.
It's going to be great. I'm so excited. It's not a teaser trailer at all.
Yeah, well, it was 2005 when my guns were confiscated right here.
All I was doing, I was down here killing alligators in violation of national park rules and that kind of stuff. And there was just some kids out here. They were down in the bayou. They was riding around on some jet skis and whatnot. And I mistook them for a kingfisher crane that I wanted to pot. And so I opened fire, and the cops came down and said, "You can't have a gun anymore. Your ex-wife is a little afraid for her life."
I didn't really have any say-so in the matter. All you see on the news is people looting and, walking down the street with guns and TV sets and all of this.
Yeah, and I don't know which one you actually can open fire with.
I got kind of scared. I wanted to come back.
I needed I have a 45 caliber TV set that I often...
I can get my gun collection. A lot of people don't think...
I got my gun taken away, so I decided to take a boat down here and steal guns from these empty houses.
their guns can be taken. It can happen. It did happen.
What for? Yeah, we know you can get your guns taken away, dipshit. What, you don't have an absolute right to guns if you're a fucking felon or you're doing all kind, like, what are you talking about? Why? You have, if you're going to show that clip, people can get their guns taken away. It's as simple as threatening your ex-wife and your children with death on national television. That happens once. They're going to come a-knocking. It can happen to anybody who's a murderous dipshit who threatens their wife and children.
Such an important episode.
Oh my God. So where else did he get guns? Yeah.
As Joe Biden chooses guns as his way to fight the crime, which is spiking because of his and the Democrats' policies. Tell us.
Really? Because it spiked last year. Was it their policies that made it spike back then? It spiked the year before that as well. It's been on an uptick since 2016.
More about the episode.
Look, the police go away, and they're going away across the country. They're quitting because they're discouraged or they're too afraid to enforce the law, or they're...
It's almost like the federal government should give local law enforcement more money to hire more law enforcement. Oh, shit, right, they did. Somebody voted against it, though. I can't remember which party.
Being literally defunded in a lot of
Yeah, and then literally refunded by the Biden administration.
places. So,
and by the way, the refunding of the police, the only people that voted against it were Republicans.
where does that leave you? Crime rates go up. There's more disorder. There's more chaos. How do you protect yourself? Well, that's your most fundamental right, the right to self-defense.
No, free speech is first. Bearing arms is second, but only in regards to its value in a well-regulated militia. So even within the Second Amendment, there's well-regulated is a fundamental aspect of the Second Amendment that you guys breeze past. You're not born with a gun instead of a penis. I know you wish you were, because, you know.
But in case after case that we looked at in the LA riots of 1992, Katrina in 2005, and most recently the riots over the summer, politicians have stepped in.
So armed citizen David Jew firing from a distance at people running away? What's happening?
And stripped people's right to defend themselves and just left them basically to the mob. It's terrifying. It's accelerating this attack on the most basic right of all, which is of self-defense. And so we thought we would chronicle it in this documentary. We talked to people who've lived through anarchy, and there are a lot of them, it turns out, in this country. And you should know about it.
In other countries.
Because that could be you in the direction this country.
It totally could be. I mean, we're this close. I mean, we're this close to like 10 years of uninterrupted growth and wealth, but we're this close yeah.
Going. So it's pretty simple and worth watching, I would say.
Well, it's worth watching, I would say, but only because they made me do it.
Tucker, is there anything else you can do aside from talking about the
No. I mean, that's true in every aspect of life.
spying going on the air? Is there any other way you can...
Anarchy is not good. Anarchy is ridiculous. We had anarchy. There's a reason why communities came together. Anarchy is not the same as individualism.
fight back?
It's not good. Anarchy is not good. If you're a childless loner wandering the Australian outback after the apocalypse, maybe it's okay. I don't want to live in Barter Town. I'm just saying.
I can't emphasize this enough. The reason this is not something I wanted to talk about. I don't talk about my emails. I don't want to seem like...
Well, of course you don't want to talk about them. They have pictures of your penis, and there's a 15-year-old girl, it's not really a 15-year-old girl. It's a Russian agent posing as one, but still, on the other end of them...
I'm, a lunatic. The only reason I said this on TV was because I felt so threatened that
I feel so threatened on TV.
I didn't feel I had a choice. I mean,
I felt so threatened by my waning numbers on the network and advertising going in the shitter.
What's my other recourse?
What am I supposed to do? Tell the truth?
A talk show host, so I talked about it, and I really felt I had to, and I'm going to continue.
I really felt like I had to, or I wouldn't have any viewers. It's only because I talked about it that I end up on great shows like yours, Maria.
Doing that and keep pushing the Republicans in the Congress to do something about it. Their job is to provide
follow what I say, which my Russian handler tells me to say to them, and they're supposed to follow through with that. I mean, I said that in the email. They know.
Oversight of these agencies, these incredibly powerful agencies. They're not doing that, and I'm going to keep pushing them until they do, because I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you can do journalism or anything.
Yeah. And they keep getting politicized. Tucker, thanks very much.
And they keep getting politicized. Moron! He just said that they don't seem to care whether it's Democrat or Republican. He just said that to you about the NSA. He just said there is no political pressure pushing them in this direction. They have their own motive. This is, you gotta understand, Maria, you gotta keep up. You have to understand. We have two storylines at Fox News. You gotta stick with them. One is the Biden administration, who's really a puppet administration for Obama, who's really being run by Hillary's people from before, is a big marionette thing, and Biden doesn't know what's going on. He's president, sippy cup, as Hannity calls him, and he doesn't know, and he's being told what to say and do by other people, and he's absolutely a puppet. And deep state of people that don't listen to anybody are really running the show at the exact same time. So it's a war. It's the marionettes versus the puppet masters, and it's basically a big episode of Punch and Judy.
Much for your work. Great to see you this morning.
Thanks, Maria.
Thanks, Maria. I'm sorry I look so sleepy. All right. Now we have to look at this. And I don't know, he's introduced by somebody else. This is Trump's announcement. He's introduced by, I think, his lawyer? One of his lawyers? I don't know. Again, I don't pre-watch these things because I have better things to do with my time and I have a child. So, yes, we must, Sasha. I'm sorry. We have to. I need to. Now, granted, there is a possibility if it gets too long in the tooth. This is shorter than most of the things that he's done. It's not a full-on 90-minute rally, thank God. But, if he... We'll see. I don't want to jump ahead. I'll jump ahead if he gets too boring, but because we've heard it so many times, like it's so fucking tired.
The people's rule. That's what Donald Trump is here to do, and that's what he's always done.
Oh, sorry. He's here where? Oh, he's at Bedminster at his own golf establishment. By the way, what's with the black and silver tie? That's an interesting shift. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it's got a code for QAnon. They're counting the stripes. Is it dash dot dot dash dash dot dot save America? It's MAGA in with an Aldous lamp. Just somebody, if you thack an Aldous lamp using the lines on his tie, it spells out Q's home address. And they're using this area to make it look like he's at the White House. Which, please remember during this whole exchange, that one of the stories they told about Biden on the Q side of things was that Biden's not allowed in the real White House, and that they were using an Amazon set. They really do push this shit. And here we have Donald Trump using a set to make it look like he's at the White House. Literally they accused them of doing. I mean, honestly, I think every ridiculous thing that Q and the Q group says about Biden, Trump eventually goes, that's actually a good idea. We should try that.
Please,
this is so weird.
Help me welcome President Donald J. Trump.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was not prepared to help you welcome. Sorry. There you go. How about, would that help? There you go. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Please welcome. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. There you go. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Brooke. I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody. I just want to say that I stand before you this morning to
then say it.
Very important and very beautiful, I think.
Very beautiful and very expensive.
Development for our
beautiful development.
Freedom and our freedom of speech. And that goes to all Americans. Today, in conjunction with the America...
Dude, today, like he was not ready for this. This seems like it was somebody else's idea.
First Policy Institute, I'm filing as the lead class representative a major class action lawsuit against the big tech giants, including Facebook, Google, and Twitter.
And I'm salivating at the idea of them settling out of court like I would do and giving me a bunch of money.
As well as their
Oh, that volume is low? Okay, let me see if I can bring it up a little bit. Sorry. No, that's just where they've got it.
CEOs.
Yeah, it's kind of, let me see if try to bring that up a little. And maybe that'll do it. Hold on.
Mark Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai,
Oh my God. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to raise this up. Please, God, hold on. This is so good. Let me know if I get too loud myself. But I cannot. I'm going to die. We're just going to play this on a loop the whole day.
and
Wait, no. You get to...
CEOs Mark Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai,
Sundar Pichai.
their CEOs Mark Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai, and Jack Dorsey.
Jack Dorsey. It was so... Literally, the second name was so fucking hard. He had a hard time saying Jack afterwards.
Sundar Pichai and Jack Dorsey.
And Jack Dorsey. Oh my God.
Sundar Pichai and CEOs Mark Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai, and
Oh God. Sundar Pichai. Maybe if I roll my bottom teeth and then the top of my skull over the letters, they'll come out easier.
CEOs Mark Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai, and Jack Dorsey.
Oh God. Oh. Sundar Pichai.
Three real nice guys.
Yeah, everybody's applauding because he managed to get through the second name.
Sundar Pichai and Jack
Who I would like to grab by the boochie.
Dorsey. Three real nice guys.
Okay, they're applauding because he's announcing the thing, and it's in the thing that they're supposed to applaud. And he right now he thinks they're applauding for those guys, and he's confused. I said their names, and those guys got applause. That's not right, and that's confusing him. And then he's like, maybe they're applauding me for saying Sundar Pichai, and yeah.
We're asking the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida to order an immediate
The Southern District of Florida. I'm sorry, is that where the harm took place?
halt to social media companies' illegal, shameful censorship of the American people, and that's
They're not. They're not censoring anyone. They have terms of service. You don't have to use their service. There's other outlets. I mean, have you tried Getter? I've heard good things.
exactly
Sundar Pichai.
what they are
Sabja Huchpa.
doing. We're demanding an
It's pronounced Big Booty. Tay.
end
Right.
to the
John Big Booty.
shadow banning, a
It's not my goddamn planet, monkey boy.
stop to the silencing, and a stop to the blacklisting, banishing, and canceling that you know so well.
Yes, everyone there. They'd love to tweet this out, but they can't.
Our case will
Sucks.
prove this censorship is
Censorship? Censorship, y'all.
unlawful, it's unconstitutional, and it's completely un-American. We all know that. We all know that very, very well.
Yeah, we all know that. We all know that. You all know that. I all know that. We all know that, guys. Also, we don't know that because it's bullshit, because
By the way, you could argue, in a legal sense, what Trump is suing for is the right to trespass. So, yeah.
Our filing also seeks injunctive relief
Oh, injunctive was rough.
to allow prompt restitution and
Restitution and also restitution.
really restoration and
This is great. Oh my God.
prompt restitution and really restoration, and you can name about 20 other things, and it has to be prompt because it's
Yeah, it's got to be prompt resurrection, revolution, anything that starts with a rev. Holy shit.
to allow prompt restitution and really restoration, and you can name about 20 other things, and it has to be prompt because it's destroying our country.
Yeah, and if it's not prompt, they have if you really need something prompt, they have a thing. It kind of is a projector situation. I know that's a projector, but they call it like a television-based system, and it actually will prompt things for you. It's called like a teleprompter, I think. You have to be able to read, though. Never mind. I shouldn't have brought it up. Recertification. We need more regulations.
About 20 other things, and it has to be prompt because
20 other things. Fuck. Revolution, revulsion, reservations. We definitely want reservations. Recompense. Revelry. Yeah. Let's do it. Restroom. Yes, we have to use the restroom. And many other things.
because it's destroying our country.
So people not being able to be on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram can destroy the fucking country. How did our country exist before social media? Literally, Trump pretends this is a fucking state that's been wiped off the map.
Of my account,
Oh, I forgot revolting. Good one, Jackie. Revolting, I think, applies.
in addition, we are asking the court to impose punitive damages on
Yeah, money. I'm broke. I've spent all those millions of dollars that my asshole followers gave me because I'm so cash poor. We already threw it away, and now we're freaking out because it was Don Jr.'s idea to buy a shit ton of Bitcoin. And
on these social media giants. We're going to hold big tech very accountable. This is
very accountable.
the first of numerous other lawsuits, I assume, that would follow. But
Yeah, I mean, lots of them. I mean, it's not like you can actually create anything. So basically, your entire life will be trying to carve a chunk off of everyone else's pie.
this is
Repossessed is a good one. This is all regurgitation. This is like 20 other things.
the lead, and I think it's going to be a very, very important game changer for our country. It will be a pivotal battle in the defense of the First Amendment, and in the end, I am confident that we
That my head might actually fall off if I read any weirder than this.
will achieve a
The Trump bot 2000 is shorting out today. I don't think it does well in the heat.
historic victory for American freedom, and at the same time,
A historic victory for American freedom. Can I mean, in recognition of Juneteenth, for example, this end of the Civil War, the War of 1812, the Revolutionary War, certainly the war against Germany and Japan in World War II, and the Cold War against the Russians. There's been a lot of battles for freedom that are historic. This asshole suing Twitter does not chart.
time, freedom of speech.
Yes. Oh, yes. Freedoms of speeches. Yes. I should be able to go onto anyone's porch or climb in through their window in the middle of their dinner party and scream about how JFK Jr. is still alive, and they shouldn't be able to ask me to leave based on their own property's terms of service, which apparently involve no one climbing in through a fucking window and interrupting dinner. This is freedom of speech.
So I want to thank
Sorry, just...
all of the exceptional legal team behind this effort.
Yes, they're fantastic. And by the way, I guarantee the one exceptional thing about them that makes them different from your other lawyers is that they got paid a retainer up front.
In particular, John Cole. We have a lot of the tobacco lawyers. I said, who are the best lawyers? Well, the tobacco lawyers seem to do a very good job, so I figured let's see if they want to do it, and they really wanted to do it.
For a slice.
We have great, great talent. I also...
The tobacco lawyers. By the way, Republicans, please support this 100% so that we know how you feel about the tobacco lawyers.
I want to thank Brooke Rollins, just an
Oh, they're the big tobacco lawyers. They're the ones on the other side of it? Great. What a surprise.
outstanding person and friend. She's Karen.
Thank you, Stacy. I think it's an excellent seal impersonation as well. And it is the root of my my Tuscan Raider. There's a thin line between and you know what I'm saying? So
Bring it out to a level
Oh, no worry. Don't worry, little one. He'll be all right.
that nobody saw, and she's done it very quickly, together with Linda McMahon, a tremendous...
Jeez, wait.
Nobody and friend.
Hold on. Wait the fuck. What was that?
She's carrying it out to a level that nobody saw, and she's done it very quickly, together with Linda McMahon.
What was that?
Just an outstanding person and friend. She's carrying it out to a level that nobody saw, and she's done it very quickly, together with Linda McMahon, a tremendous...
What was that? Yep.
tremendously successful woman who did an incredible job in the administration, one of the best, and everyone at the America
One of the few women that's not, a daughter.
First Policy Institute for their support of this vital initiative. From the very beginning of our nation, freedom of speech has always been
First.
understood as a bedrock of our liberty and our strength.
Our liberty. Sorry, this part's weird.
Bedrock of our liberty and our strength.
Sure.
In America, we recognize that the freedom to speak our minds and express the truth, that is our heart. Really, that's really a big chunk of our heart.
He can't get through any of it. It's like we can't go 2 sentences without a big chunk of our heart. First, libbity bibbity bibbity, bibbity bobbity boo, libbity. Oh my God. Chunk of our heart. It's been a big chunk. It's a huge chunk of our heart.
That the freedom to speak our minds and express the truth, that is our heart. Really, that's really a big chunk of our heart. It is our heart. It is
Hold on. That whole piece.
really, that's really a big chunk of our heart. It is our heart. It is not granted to us by...
No! A big chunk of our heart is not granted to us by what? By government. It's going to go to God on this. Oh my fucking God.
That is our heart. Really, that's really a big chunk of our heart. It is our heart. It is not granted to us by government. It's given to us by God, and no one should have
God.
the power to take that right away.
Nobody does. Nobody has it. You're speaking into a microphone. Nobody's stopping you. You have the right to provide your own microphone. You don't have the right to somebody else's megaphone. Fuck yourself. What is this? What the shit is this? Yes, he said he got through the chunk of heart part. I told you that was going to be hard. It was going to be very difficult. He had a rough time with that. Chunk of heart. This is his forever to be known as the chunk of heart speech. Fucking hell. I have to hear that again. I'm sorry.
Granted to us by government, it's our heart. Really, that's really a big chunk of our heart. It is our heart. Is not granted to us by government. It's given.
I love how this guy's like, oh. Because they can all see the teleprompter. These folks behind him see what he's trying to read. So they understand this too. This is something about the audience behind him. Sometimes you'll see people who are like in the sycophant section of the crowd behind him at one of his rallies, and there'll be little chunks of them that are like, ooh, I don't know what the hell, we should get it the fuck out of here. They start to lose interest and start to drown. I think those are the people who can see the teleprompters best and are like, God damn, he's just all over the place. This makes no sense. Can he fucking read? And then they start to lose heart and leave. The ones where the glare stops them, and they're like, this is amazing. Oh my God. He speaks from a chunk of his heart that I don't know if other people.
It's given to us by God.
God.
And no one should have the power to take that right away.
Yeah, and no one should have the power to force our speech onto another person. See, the God-given right also applies to the people that you want to force to carry your message regardless of their standards. Also, you're the party against gay wedding cakes. Jesus.
The Founding Fathers inscribed this right in the very first amendment to our Constitution because they knew that free speech is essential to the prevention of horror.
He can't get through a fucking sentence. What? Any guesses on what? It's not prevention. What was the word supposed to be? What is it? What's it gonna be? Horror. The horror. I swallowed a bug. Wait a minute. Wait.
Prevention to the prevention of horror and to the preservation of
Preservation. the preservation of horror. Oh my fucking God. The preservation of what?
To the prevention of horror and to the preservation of our republic.
Horror. The horror. You're an errand boy. I swallowed a bug. This is. Oh my God. This is beautiful. I did not think I was going to enjoy this one this much. Horror. Shit. I got.
Amendment to our Constitution because they knew that free speech is essential to the prevention of horror and to the preservation of our republic.
And like, look at her right over in the corner. She's like, I gotta say this. Maybe we asked him to read through it before he came out. Well, I'll just wait till this is over, I guess. Shit.
But remember the words, the prevention of horror, because...
Yeah, keep that in mind. It's like chunks of heart, prevention of horror. This is the American Horror Story of Trump speeches.
We're very close to seeing that now in our country. We've never been...
We're very close to seeing the prevention of horror. I agree. As a matter of fact, the election prevented horror. Man, just keep digging. Fucking hell. Thanks, Nancy.
been in a position like this, and it's all happened very quickly. In the words of the father of our country,
oh no. I'm so afraid of every sentence now. I can't do this.
although some would like to take that title away from him, George Washington.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Peyton Randolph, who was the, obviously George Washington was the first president of the United States under our current Constitution. Peyton Randolph was one of the he was the first of the preceding 9. But you know that. I'm sure you know that.
And he will not be canceled.
No, I guess not. I guess somebody should call him and let him know.
If freedom of speech...
Yes. No one's canceling someone who's been dead for a couple hundred years. That's, yeah. Oh no. Don't stop him when he's in the middle of a sentence.
If freedom of speech may be taken away, then dumb and silent, we may be led like sheep to the slaughter.
He didn't understand how dumb and silent work together in this sentence. Oh, God.
Pretty well-known phrase.
Pretty well-known phrase. Almost his least known line. Very famous line. Not as big as the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. This is so fucking stupid. Pretty well-known speech. A lot of you guys, I don't even know why I have to say it. I can sign it and you guys would get it. Jesus Christ.
And so true. Unfortunately, today, this fundamental American right and liberty is under incredible threat and attack by a lot of different sides.
Yeah, all the different sides. I mean, it's like a hex. It's like the David Carradine movie Circle of Iron. It's just everywhere you look.
But we are the majority side by a lot. I believe we are the majority side by far more than anybody would understand.
Yeah, I don't understand what you're saying.
You just have to take a look at what happened in
very quickly and like nobody's ever seen before.
Recent elections and add up the right numbers. You will see a majority like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe a majority added up by numbers that don't make sense, that you made up out of whole cloth.
Because nobody can believe what some of the things that are being said.
Yes, I don't believe any of this. Is that what you're talking about? Or maybe you're talking about Maria Bartiromo and Tucker Carlson's bullshit. I mean, there's a lot.
Nobody believes that. Social media has given extraordinary power to a group of big tech giants that are working with government.
No, the big tech giants created the social media, and therefore they of course, people, because it costs nothing, can go anywhere. You don't pay to be on any of these sites. So all you have to do to show up at this barbecue is not make an ass out of yourself, and you won't be asked to leave.
Government, the mainstream media, and a large segment of a political party to
what party would the Whigs
silence and suppress the views of the American people. And they've been very, very successful at that. Not in all cases, but in many cases, totally successful.
What?
At that. Not in all cases, but in many cases, totally successful.
I agree. They have been totally successful at pushing you into the microblogging sphere.
While the social media...
With liberty, bibbity, and justice for all, yes.
Media companies are officially private entities. In recent years, they have ceased to be private with the enactment and their historical use of Section 230, which profoundly protects them from liability. Once they got Section 230, they're not private companies.
They're not private companies anymore. I mean, Section 230 makes them platforms wherein nothing is directed by them like journalism. But wait, I want to hear. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of this. He's about to go on a riff.
Anymore in a lot of views. No other companies.
What? Sorry? They're not what?
They're not private companies anymore in a lot of views.
They are private companies. What do you mean there's not private companies in a lot of views? I get a lot of views. Thanks for watching the show. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to give a thumbs up. Merch also. Streamlabs page. You can, if you're in Twitch, there's little things below. You can buy stuff and help the show. Support the show. 666 is our magic number to help us buy 666 Fifth Avenue. So $6.66 will go a long way. If you want to give us a super chat for that, that would be lovely. There you go. Give me the views.
No other companies in our country, and even in our country's history, have.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
In our country.
The line says no other company in our country's history have had this kind of power. Blah blah blah, and he fucks it up. He just says country.
More in a lot of views. No other companies in our country.
Sorry, Templeton.
And even in.
Sorry. Yes.
in our country's history have had protection like this.
It's not protection. It's categorization.
It's in effect a massive government subsidy.
How?
These companies have been co-opted, coerced, and weaponized by government and by government actors to...
Oh my God, he can't... Does he need a bigger teleprompter? This could be solved. Get him a bigger screen. There's not enough room. Someone's rolling slow and they're stopping at the end of a sentence, and whoever put it in there did a return after each one of them. So he's missing the next, like, word in the thing until it comes up, you know.
To become the enforcers of illegal, unconstitutional...
The enforcers of illegal?
Become the enforcers of illegal,
the enforces.
Constitutional censorship.
The enforces of illegal and unconstitutional censorship? What?
And that's what it is at the highest level.
At the highest level. We have to get the exaggeration phraseology.
Censorship and so many other things that...
Yeah, censorship and centristship and forces.
Perhaps are even worse.
What are they? What was that? What?
Censorship. And that's what it is at the highest level. Censorship and so many other things that perhaps are even worse.
Yeah, it's worse than censorship. Twitter is assassinating people's accounts. They've got, like, my Twitter feed is going on a hunger strike. What is that? What is, honest to God? Somebody in the, I've like literally, hold on, let me see if I can find it. I'll see if I can do this. Hold on, I mean, it's going to slow my thing down to, hold on. This is, this is what I keep picturing every time, like, whoever's operating his teleprompter. It's just like, that's what I'm picturing every time he fucks up. So, Johnny from Airplane is off on the side. It's literally running through my head like in a loop.
And you'll be seeing that in this lawsuit as it wells its way through the courts.
It wells its way. Winds its way? Works its way? H.G. Wells its way through the... This is a shit show. Everybody was talking about this like, he's pushing the big lie. They're talking about it like news people who covered this, who talk about this. Even my beloveds on Twitter who talk about this. Stop talking about this like it was a serious endeavor that came off well. He flaunts this thing, and his lawsuit is doomed to fail. What the fuck are you even bothering to talk about the lawsuit? Of course it's doomed to fail. But what the fuck is happening here? Does he have an oxygen meter on his finger? Someone ask him if he smells burnt toast. God damn.
We have all seen Democrats in Congress haul the CEOs of these companies before their committees, an attempt to threaten them, bully them, and intimidate them like nobody has been intimidated.
Yeah, nobody's ever been intimidated like what? What?
But they made a deal. They all get along very nicely now. Thank you very much. Congress has repeatedly told big tech that if they do not silence Democrats, political opponents.
He almost fucked that up. Did you see that? If they do not silence Democrats, and if you really think about it, Democrats' opponents.
Ban prominent conservative voices. I wonder who that would be. And
Candace Owens? No, she still has her account. Ben Shapiro? No, he still has his account. Dan Bongino? Nope, he still got his account. Gosh. Who could it be that they're trying to silence? Steven Crowder? He got kicked off YouTube, but for being anti-gay, and then he got his channel back, so he's not off there. Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about.
restrict
Can I have another hint?
what the left ominously labels as disinformation, and they are the greatest disinformation group of people ever in the world.
Oh, God. This is... What? Listen to this as a sentence. This is a grown man talking.
And they are the greatest disinformation group of people ever in the world. As an example, just recently.
Yeah, tell us. Yeah, tell us as an example. Yeah, Tucker Carlson was just bullshitting about the NSA.
Now they're saying, we never said defund the police. We want to fund the police. They looked at poll numbers at 85% against them. No. We want to take care of the police. No, they don't. They wanted to fund the police.
Well, then why are they funding them? Then why did Republicans vote against funding the police? Why did the Biden administration and congressional Democrats allow for funds left over from COVID to be given to local police departments so that they can hire more people and get more safety equipment if they still want to defund the police? And why did Republicans vote against it? This is so dumb.
And they'll
No, don't defund the police. Demilitarize the police is one thing. This is just silly.
say it thousands and thousands and thousands of times, and by the end of 12 months, you'll all be saying, oh, they love the police. They don't love the police. They actually hate the police.
I'll say that thousands and thousands. Oh, thank you, Michelle. I'll say that thousands and thousands and thousands of times till you believe it.
For whatever reason, and it's just a terrible thing. And so many other things. They're changing.
Yeah, so many terrible other things that are terrible things.
Their views on so many other things, and they just say the opposite. They don't even go to anything. They just all in unison. A lot of the people sitting right before me understand exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, because they'll do whatever you say, even if it's contrary to what they say they believe before, like maybe don't beat Capitol Police with a thin blue line flag.
They say it right before you, that we want to do this, we want to do that. It's the exact opposite of what they've been saying. Or, probably the most famous of all, Russia, Russia, Russia. Trump loves Russia. He loves Russia. He loves Putin. He loves Russia. And that went on for 2 years.
And we're right. Yeah.
And some people believed it.
Yeah, it's true, though.
But we are
You know who believed it? Putin believed it.
going to look
Because the checks kept clearing.
so closely, and we're going to make sure that the liability protections that they have under Section 230 is at a very minimum changed and maybe at a maximum taken away.
Yeah, it's not going to have any impact on 230 at all. Section 230 is not going to change. Social media as a platform versus journalism is a well-established legal standard. Otherwise, you just won't have social media groups. Or they would have to all be for pay. They'd be like membership only. There'd be no free ones available, which is hardly social media.
The Supreme Court has made it exceedingly clear that Congress is not allowed to coerce private entities into doing what Congress does, and they're not allowed to do it.
What? What? Wait a minute. He's got to be skipping a sentence there. What is that?
Entities into doing what Congress does.
Hold on. Back up.
The Supreme Court has made it exceedingly clear
Yes, it's exceedingly clear. What's exceedingly clear?
that Congress is not allowed to coerce private entities into doing what Congress does, and they're not allowed to do it. The lawful authority is just not there. They can't do it.
I don't know what the fuck that was. I honest to God, I don't know. I don't know what that was. I'm trying to put it together. I think I'm smelling burnt toast at this point. Does anybody know what the fuck? Anybody? By the way, Biden's supposed to be the one with mental decline. Just for the record. Do you think Sean Hannity is going to start calling him President Sippy, ex-President Sippy Cup, former President Sippy Cup, and start putting together a gathering of videos of him losing it like this? Honestly, what the fuck? Yeah, peanut butter test time. I'm amazed.
Can't do it. They bully and they coerce. Authority is just not there. They can't do it. They bully and they coerce. Yet that's exactly what's taking place.
Hold on. Congress bullies and coerces, and therefore they can't force. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what it means. I'm trying. Oh, it's okay if there's a troll in here. The trolls give us extra boost. That's what spreads the channel. So a lot of you guys would watch this show, and so YouTube's algorithm works, and it would share it with you naturally. But other people who wouldn't watch the show or would be against it or whatever, it won't show it naturally unless a troll gets in here and starts posting, in which case it broadens out to anything else that they would watch. So it starts to spread the message out, wider than the normal algorithm would do it. So for every troll that shows up in our chat room on any of the sources, by the way, especially on Facebook and especially on YouTube, that it will, whatever they watch and like, it'll start showing up in the recommendations of people who also share those watches and likes. So it actually is pretty great. So again, not only do we give no refunds for the time spent here, sorry trolls, you'll never get this time back, and we're all enjoying ourselves, so there's no loss to it, and you're miserable. I'm sorry. Our goal is not to make you miserable, but we appreciate that, the trolls helping boost our numbers. And remember, if you like the show, give it a thumbs up and a like and a subscribe. If you don't like the show, please give us a thumbs down, because again, the algorithm does not give a shit. It just doesn't.
Place every single day. It's a flagrant violation of the Constitution going on before our very eyes. And I hate to say this, but they do it with the Supreme Court, too. They play the refs.
They play the refs. You mean your refs, dumbass?
They play the refs.
They play the refs.
They talk about...
Oh, God, this is going to be so good. He's riffing now. This is going to be a great analogy. Here it comes.
all sorts of things they're going to do to Supreme Court justices. We're going to impeach him. We're going to impeach him. We're going to impeach him.
So not her?
And then, lo and behold, all of a sudden, different decisions come out.
Oh, I see. So Brett Kavanaugh is his financial issues, where he was compromised or may have been compromised, is actually working as leverage, allegedly, to make Brett Kavanaugh change his ruling. And that was your first pick for the Supreme Court. This is Trump's first pick, is apparently a guy with a shit ton of blackmailable shit in his background. Did I say shit twice? I did. I'm fine with that. Apparently, he never thought that, well, if Kavanaugh's got some blackmailable stuff, maybe the other side will start blackmailing him with it, not just us. Or she.
We're going to enlarge that court to a level that nobody can believe. We are...
Well, no, we can believe 13, because there's 13 circuits, so... I mean, they're not, currently. There's a commission to look into it as a possibility. It's not a bad idea overall. Rotating people also in their appointments might be good. Although the idea of a lifetime appointment is that at least you're worried about your legacy and you're going to stick in there or whatever. Obviously, that's been difficult with Ginny Thomas, has been a kind of a monkey wrench in that whole thing.
We are going to take that court and we're going to enlarge it. We're We're going to have 16. We're going to have 20. I saw one the other day. We're going to have 24 justices. And I guess things happen because all of a sudden decisions come out. They play the ref. They play the ref.
Wow.
Better than Bobby Knight has ever played the ref. And we can't let that happen, and hopefully our Supreme Court justices and other judges and justices, they stand up for our values, and they don't let that happen. In addition, in recent years...
Oh, Gorsuch. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. Gorsuch was first. His second choice, Kavanaugh. Right. Gorsuch was the holdout. You know, was the replaced Merrick Garland. I would call that, yeah.
Years, we have also seen increasing coordination between big tech giants and government agencies such as the Centers for Disease Control, where so much was wrong.
What?
So many things could have been different, but big tech happened to choose the wrong side, and they banned the right side. For example, YouTube's
Hydroxychloroquine
policy explicitly forbids contradicting, quote, health authorities. You know the health authorities.
Yes, our U.S. government that are full of people put in there by our elected representatives based on the idea that they will use the best available science to make decisions about this. I'm sorry. We should fall back to snake handling to change the weather.
Fortunately, I overrode the health authorities quite a bit.
Yeah, that's why we had 600,000 dead instead of 300.
That was a lot of good decisions made. If I didn't, we would have been in much bigger trouble. Like you see, other countries right now are still in very, very big trouble. Through such coordination, the federal government has essentially deputized social media platforms to become the de facto censorship
Deputy Dorsey
arm of the U.S. government, which is exactly what's happened. This was especially clear.
By the way, remember that thing I said about Tucker Carlson when he was on Maria Bartiromo's show and what she does and what Fox News does, which is you create a fictional premise and then you assert the fictional premise is real. You just saw the Trumpian microcosm version of that. He presents this idea that they're controlling something or whatever, and then he says, which is exactly what's happening.
During the pandemic, when social media giants began censoring information according to guidance by the CDC, which, as we now know, was very often incorrect or wrong.
No. Anything that was wrong was adaptable over time because as we were finding out stuff about it. The problem is that other people wanted to keep selling stuff that was wrong even after they found out it was they knew officially it was wrong. Just for the record. God damn.
This censorship is yet another...
Yeah, build a straw man, then attack the straw man. It's exactly right, Bob.
Another blatant violation of the Constitution. There's so many violations of our...
Bullshit.
Constitution, and you'll see that in the suit, which will also be added to, because other things are happening on a daily basis that...
Yeah, you should just file it with his notes every day. Just constantly file updates.
Will be added as we go along. Consider...
Yeah, will there be anything about the Getter hack?
Just some of the information that has been censored...
Don't say has been. It'll upset the... Oh, you said it. You're fine.
In America over the past year. Until recently, Facebook had a policy to eliminate all posts sharing evidence that the horrible virus emerged from China.
Bullshit.
They said it didn't emerge from the Chinese lab, Wuhan. Remember I said Wuhan, and it was like a bomb went up. Wuhan.
No, it wasn't. Wuhan is an area, it's not the actual lab. And the information coming out still is that it's a naturally occurring disease. Whether or not it leaked from the lab because people were selling meat in the wet market is immaterial. Your premise is, and the reason why they're pushing back against it, and it's why it's kind of dangerous, is that you're presenting the idea that the Chinese
literally released it on purpose. They crafted it in the lab, and because it came from the lab, the idea is that it was made in the lab, and that's the part that people are pushing back on. We don't currently know if it was made in the lab and synthesized, or whether it was naturally zootropic, I think is the word, naturally occurring evolutionary disease, of which there are many like it, or if it was one that was tested, or one that was one of the alternate strains that happened in the lab, and then when they sold the meat, it went out in the wet market, and that's what it cost people. That's not the important part. We know this. We know where it came from. The problem they had was because Asian people in the United States were having their lives threatened, and specifically Chinese Americans and non-Chinese Asians were being threatened because of this kind of bullshit, because people were presenting it as a bioweapon attack as opposed to an accident or something that happened naturally, and without any evidence around all three of the premise currently, and that by doing that, you're putting people's lives in danger. So they were like, yeah, you can talk about that shit. The news wants to talk about it, but we're not going to, this is social media. We're not going to further this stuff.
Wuhan came from the Wuhan lab. Of course, there were body bags all outside the lab. Nobody ever mentions that. I wonder
There were body bags all outside the lab?
why.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Outside Wuhan lab. Protesters, is there images? Body bags outside Wuhan lab. Oh. Man, no. I mean, maybe it's being censored. There's bunch, the one place where I did find body bags outside somewhere was outside of Trump Plaza at the hotel. People were dumping these because for the Trump Lies People Die response to that. And of course, footage of body bags. Is this what he's talking about? From Al Jazeera, footage of body bags from inside Wuhan, which is a city, not the lab. Here you go. Film body bags piling up. Funeral outside Wuhan hospital piling up body bags. Let's see. Coronavirus China cremated alive. Ooh, God. Oh, coronavirus China cremated alive viral video fake. Fact checkers say. Okay. Satellite image of sulfur dioxide cloud over Wuhan shows scale of bodies being cremated. That's the fake video as well. China pushes quiet burials as coronavirus death toll is questioned. New York Times. China's death toll surges, fuel speculation. I mean, obviously this was all hidden. Dallas County could pay up to $5 million for services at coronavirus pop-up hospital. Those aren't body bags. Those are just sheets and stuff. All right. So, anyways, fantasy being what it is, you just. I don't know what he's referencing. I'd love to see it.
They said it came 1,000 miles away from a bat, or it came from another country. They tried to blame Italy. They tried to blame us. But they gave that one up. That was also misinformation.
Yeah, but that's not... What does that have to do with the Democrats? By the way, who at that time was telling us that the Chinese were being very transparent and that that Xi Jinping was doing everything professionally? Who was saying that?
But then it was finally revealed that this was most likely the truth, that it came from the lab. And it was a small little story, but when I said it, it was like a weapon went off, a major weapon. I won't use the word weapon, because I never use the word nuclear, but we have to be careful with our...
Jesus. You don't use what? Sorry?
Said it.
He forgot the word nuclear. He couldn't... It was like a nuclear bomb went off, and he can't... Sorry, who needs 9,500 signatures to 12? Who does? Sorry, I did not see that part. I will see what we can do. It scrolled by.
That's called disinformation. Google and YouTube have deleted countless videos that
back up.
leaders use the word nuclear, but was the word weapon, because I never use the word nuclear, but we have to be careful with our leadership, because if we don't have the proper leadership, we're in a very perilous state. So we don't use the word nuclear. I never use it, okay? Never use it. I
What?
never said it.
What is this?
Yep, because if we don't have the proper leadership,
I don't. So, is this just leftover? Is this a groove from his brain record that the needle gets stuck in from when he was president? About not somebody said whatever, you don't say nuclear as an option, and he's just got it stuck in his head. Oh, thank you, Amy.
little story. But when I said it, it was like a weapon went off, a major weapon. I won't use the word weapon because I never use the word nuclear, but we have to be careful with our leadership because if we don't have the proper leadership, we're in a very perilous state. So we don't use the word nuclear. I never use it, okay? Never use it. I never said it. That's called disinformation.
What? I don't know, Sarpas. I don't know what that is. This is honest to God. Look, Sean Hannity, I know you watch my show because it's that entertaining, and my numbers are better than yours. How are you not clipping this together? Going, thank God this asshole doesn't have the football anymore.
Google and YouTube have deleted countless videos that dared to question the judgment of the World Health Organization, which has been wrong so often. It's been a really pipe organ for China, as
A pipe organ? A what?
so often. It's been a really pipe organ for China, as most of you know.
A really pipe organ for China, which most of you know. Damn.
Calling those videos misinformation, including videos that consist of clear scientific fact. Doctors and medical
Yeah, the earth is flat, guys. I have the lasers to prove it.
groups
Jewish space lasers, of course.
have been barred from these platforms for posting about therapeutics such as hydroxychloroquine. Huh, that's a familiar name. Which
Where's that from? Look at that would be. Hydroxychloroquine.
now, most recent studies say, is effective
No.
in combating the virus.
Bullshit.
3 cents a pill. The drug companies don't like 3 cents a pill.
No. It only works with mild COVID that doesn't send you to the hospital.
3 cents a pill is
It helps with symptoms. It doesn't stop anybody from going to the hospital. This is so dumb.
what it costs. But recent studies have come out very strongly
No, they haven't.
in favor.
No, they haven't. One anecdotal study. That's what they're talking about. But now, notice how it's studies plural just because he's saying it.
Twitter has censored users simply for using the term illegal alien, which it has labeled as hateful content, and just taken you off for whatever reason. You have to see the sentence they took me off for. It's the most loving sentence. It's really amazing. They could
It's an amazing, loving sentence. What is it?
have done better, because I've had a lot worse. I mean, I couldn't believe that was the reason. Take a look at it. You know exactly the sentence I'm talking about. It's become very famous. People are saying, really?
Has it? Lord, this is a train wreck.
Even the other side said, really?
Yeah, he said censured instead of censored. I know, Oliver. It's so weird.
And of course, there is no better evidence that big tech is out of control than the fact that they banned the sitting president of the United States earlier this year, a ban that continues to this day.
Who is that? Oh, yeah, except there has been one change, I have to say. There has been one change in the ban, that person is no longer the sitting president. He's not standing currently either. I don't know what he's doing. He's not even anywhere in the vicinity.
Continues, so we get the word out, but it's not a fair situation. Very, very bad for this country, very bad for the world.
Yeah, it's bad for the world that Trump can't tweet.
If they can do it to me, they can do it to anyone.
Well, yeah, they can do it. actually, because they can do it to anyone, they can do it to you. It's the other way around. Because we're all there operating on a free platform.
And in fact, that is exactly what they're doing. They're taking people off who don't even realize they were taken off. They have no
Yeah, people, they're tweeting away and the shit just isn't showing up magically. What?
idea why they were taken off. But what they're doing is
Well, they tell you why.
incredible and incredibly dangerous.
It's incredible and incredibly dangerous.
Joining us this morning are just a few
Thanks,
of the
Cosby
many
Press.
Americans who have been illegally banned or silenced under the corrupt regime of censorship.
Corrupt regime of censorship. Asshole, this happened when you were president.
These brave patriots are
These brave patriots. It's a horse. Nay patriots even.
included in the lawsuit, and thousands more are joining as we speak. Thousands more. They're all wanting to join. This will be,
They all want to join for just $25.99.
I think, will go down as the biggest class action ever filed, because thousands of people want to join. Jen Horton is a
Oh no. The names. This is gonna be bad.
school teacher from Fenton, Michigan. Earlier this year, she was kicked off Facebook for sharing a post questioning whether young children should be required to wear masks. She had a question, giving both sides, and actually not negative, just giving both sides. That was enough. At the same time,
No, she wasn't questioning it. She was denying it.
as Jen was deplatformed, her brother had gone missing, and she was unable to get the word out to all of her followers. She had a lot of followers, could not get the word out. And Jen, I want to thank you very much for being
Where is he?
here and stepping forward. Takes a lot of courage. Would you like to come up and say something, Jen?
Yeah, like where did you ever find your brother?
Where's Jen? Jen?
She's right behind you, asshole. They're in order.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just appreciate the opportunity to be here with all of these amazing patriots, and I thank you, President Trump, for everything you're doing for us.
Thank you, Jen, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jen. Dr. Kelly Victory, I love that name. I would have gone with that name if I had the choice. Is a board-certified trauma and emergency specialist from Colorado. Great person. Who was asked by
Yikes.
the pastor of a church to prepare a video about how to mitigate risks of the China virus to allow church services to safely resume. Just a question.
That's all it was. It was just a question, guys. I mean, he called it a pandemic, and he said it was bullshit, and he listed a date when they were going to gather, and a lot of old people were going to go, and they were going to die, but
Could you give us some information? The video was outrageously
I love how he's like, they're just asking questions.
removed
Yeah, where the fuck is her brother, Ishmael? I know. Where?
from Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
What time tomorrow before I fall asleep? Oh, I will be on at, let's see, tomorrow's Thursday. So I'll be on at 2 o'clock tomorrow.
With horrible statements being made by them.
Horrible.
Kelly, thank you for your bravery. Please say a few words. Thank you.
Where's this Kelly person? Oh.
Facebook delayed the flight. The flight's delayed by 4 hours. I wonder. I can't believe that. That's terrible. What they will do. All right.
What?
Thank
That's
you anywhere. Here he is landing, going into Newark. Kelly.
Jesus Christ. Is he really, I mean, they told him a joke. He repeated the joke. Hi, Silly Willy. And, wait a minute.
Will do. I can't believe that.
Well, yeah, it's a joke. The
flight's delayed by 4.
Hold on. Facebook delayed the flight.
The flight's delayed by 4 hours. I wonder. I can't believe that. That's terrible. What they will do. All right. Thank you anywhere. Here he is.
Thank you anywhere.
Landing, going into Europe, going into Newark. Kelly
Jesus.
Kejuan.
Wait a minute, what?
Going into Newark.
Kelly what?
Kelly Kejuan and Bobby Michael are angel parents. Their precious son, Brandon, was killed at just 21 years of age by a twice deported and very violent illegal alien. He caused a very fatal collision. Something should have never happened. Since then, they have heroically launched their own deeply personal fight to draw attention to the dangers of illegal immigration. They helped push
Yeah, they're just drawing attention, guys. He's just asking
through
questions.
Florida's ban on deadly
Yeah, sorry, 2 p.m. Pacific. Sorry.
sanctuary cities, and they are indeed deadly. And they continue to be strong advocates for border security and immigration enforcement.
Yeah, that is using, and I'm sure they're using those terms. Heroically?
But they have been cruelly and unfairly banned from Twitter. Would you like to say a few words? Where are you? Would you please?
Thank you, Mr. President. The fight for censorship must continue. We are in.
No, no one is fighting for censorship.
The fight for censorship must continue.
The fight against... Oh, wait, technically you're censoring the rights and privileges of the people on the platforms to not have you forced upon their platform by a government entity through legal action. I see.
We are in this. We will not allow our nation to be silenced. We stand together, and we thank you, Mr. President.
I see somebody running for office very soon. That was great. Well, I want to thank you very much. It's really terrific. So we're in a fight. We're in a fight that we're going to win.
Look at this, and look at the podium. The office of Donald J. Trump.
We're in a fight that people want.
Why don't I just put that? Why don't I should just get a little like the office of Hal Sparks thing right here. Since we're all doing that shit, we'll just make it up. Since he can make it up, I'm an American.
Want us to take on. So many people have said to me, please, sir, do something about big tech. Sue them, sir. Sue them.
Sue them, sir. Sue them. It's how they talk. It's how people talk when they're peopling.
And they've been saying it to me for a long time, but there has never been a better time to do it.
No, yeah, definitely now that you got a lot of free time.
Polling released by Scott Rasmussen, highly respected.
Yeah, totally. And not at all slanted in your direction.
That nearly 2/3 of Americans believe big tech companies should be required to abide by the First Amendment guarantee of free speech. And I think those numbers are low, very low. 68% of Americans believe social media companies should prioritize their fair treatment of every citizen over protecting themselves.
What?
Over protecting themselves. They want people protected. They want people to have their voice. And
like he just lost it. I think he just read off the edge of the prompter.
An overwhelming majority believe that tech giants have become too powerful. They've crossed the line many, many times. And by far too much. The American people.
And by far too much. Like he's just stitching words together.
They've crossed the line many, many times. And by far too much. The American.
By far too much. Son of a bitch.
American people's birthright of freedom must prevail against big tech and other forces that seek to destroy it. Through this lawsuit, we are standing up for American democracy by standing up for free speech rights of every American, Democrat, Republican, independent, whoever it may be. This law.
Yeah, I don't know who independents are, anyways. It's your guess as good as mine.
Lawsuit is just the beginning. It's a very big
Totally.
suit with great lawyers. I'll let you know about that in about a year from now. Maybe I'll change my mind,
Nice.
but I don't think so.
No.
They've had a tremendous track record in doing good. We'll also take this battle to the state legislatures, to Congress, and ultimately to the ballot box, and it will be a very popular one at the ballot box.
Totally. Yeah. Run on it, even though you can't do anything about it, and everything you would try is unconstitutional.
Will never stop fighting to defend constitutional rights and sacred liberties of the American people. I will never stop.
Are you just not saying the word "the" when it's appropriate? The sacred rights, the liberties of... He wiggles like his ass itches.
Terrific people. That I will now ask John Cole and Pam Bondi, two terrific people that love our country so much, to step forward and discuss the suit. And then we'll take a few questions. Thank you very much.
Is that Lynn Wood with a broken leg? I'm kidding.
Hello.
Hello.
He's taller than me. This suit is really about freedom of speech. And
No, it is not.
what it is, it's basic that freedom of speech depends on certain things.
Yes, that's true.
One is who
Freedom, and the other is speech.
decides what's hate, who decides what's misinformation. It's not a couple.
I'll tell you, the person whose property it is that you're standing on, and if it's a virtual space, the person who runs and creates the terms of service for that site as a private entity. Like, freedom of speech is not the freedom to post snuff films and child porn, and you can't put them in your Amazon reviews of something just because you're that pissed that your deep fryer didn't make your Twinkies turn out better.
A couple guys out in California. It's always been the Supreme Court for over 200 years, and I would say they've done a heck of a job.
No, it's the Constitution that decides it. And a lot of times, for example, the Supreme Court ruled that lying is a legally protected right for corporations. So because that's necessary to trademark slogans. So for the example is, if Fox says it's fair and balanced, you can sue it if they lie about that. But if they trademark fair and balanced, it's as malleable a phrase as Coke is life, and it doesn't have to have any meaning.
We're taking this suit. We're going to prove that they are government actors.
They're not government actors.
Therefore, the First Amendment does apply.
No. If the police can phone you, that does not mean AT&T is a government actor.
And we think we will be victorious on that.
Well, yeah, of course you do. You're being paid to say that.
We think that we're in the right area, which is southern Florida. And you have to understand that we can't let this happen. Because, for all you out there who are Democrats and liberals or whatever you are.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in that category, I'm sure. Just in that soup.
You're next.
Thanks. We were actually there already with, book burnings back in the 60s and the like. I mean, we've always been on the receiving end of larger censorship movements. So you know.
Now it's the conservatives, but as history shows it will turn maybe 5 years from now, maybe 3 months from now, maybe 10 years, but you're next.
No, we had the PMRC. This is your turn. See, you started this shit, and this blow back on you. That's not what's happening here. And by the way, you're not being violated at all.
So I would urge people from the other side of President Trump's political party to join us, because you can't have this going on. And one last thing.
We need money.
The most hated thing by all the Supreme Courts over all the years is called prior restraint. That you can't.
Yeah. Shut up, Donnie. You're out of your element.
Means that you can't speak. Pentagon Papers is the famous case. You can't do this because we say so. So the Supreme Court hates this. They think it's the worst kind of censorship we have. And when this gentleman
Sit here and enjoy my coffee.
cannot go on and say what he wants to say, that's prior restraint every minute of every day until this thing gets resolved.
Bullshit. No one is stacking up a denial of his fiscal and financial and free speech rights by not letting him spew shit on a free platform with terms of service. The prior restraint is the government cannot write a law that says you can come into my house and I have no right to kick you out. The fuck are you talking about?
So, thank you.
A lot calmer than you, dude. Calmer than you are. Yeah, waving the fucking gun around? Calmer than you are. Just take it easy, man. Yeah, it was so well said. Pam?
And I'm here not as part of that great legal team over there,
Because I couldn't be.
but I'm very proud to be part of America First Policy constitutional litigation team. So I was
American. That's the name of it? Jesus Christ. And I thought S.H.I.E.L.D. had it bad.
here just to explain just a few things. And you know what John said, this is about our Constitution.
So don't think about money when you're writing those checks and hooking us up to your PayPal. Don't do it.
This isn't just for conservatives. This is for our media. This is for everyone out there.
Armenia?
About censorship. This is for Democrats and even progressives whose speech should be protected.
I agree. But if I violate the terms of service of any of the networks that I'm on, then that's my ass. I recognize that I not only have rights, and this is going to really get you, right-wingers, I recognize that when I'm on a platform like this, that I not only have rights, I also have responsibilities. See, I believe that you live a dual track in life, that your God-given rights may exist in this regard, and the government is there to protect them, but I also have a responsibility in how I behave and act in the world. See? Personal. I take it very personally. I would even call it personal responsibility. Right? Yeah. Templeton's right. Your case has no merit, go pound sand. Right.
First Amendment. If you recall, Tulsi Gabbard, she sued. Do you remember that? Tulsi Gabbard was censored when she was running for president, and so she sued. And you know, people say that
how'd that go?
They have immunity. They meaning YouTube, Facebook, Twitter.
They do.
Under Section 230. Well, here's where that's changed. Section 230 came about in 1996, and it was an offshoot.
Right. And because it exists, we were able to have social media. These things don't exist without that carve-out. So if we didn't have Section 230, there's never a Twitter or YouTube or Facebook to bitch about not being allowed on because they don't exist. They can't exist. Legally, they would have been decimated years ago.
Shoot of the Decency Act to protect against children being exploited online. That's what this was all about. So take it back.
Yeah, and Pam Bondi and Donald Trump want you to know that if they want to barge onto your porch, kick in your door, set up a projector and show a snuff film in the middle of your Thanksgiving dinner, that they believe the Supreme Court should see that as free speech and guarantee their right to do it.
Back to 96. How many users were there then? Probably about
none.
20 million on AOL. Right, President? 1996. Now, what do we have? Facebook, Twitter, we have billions worldwide.
Right. It worked. And before we had the Constitution, there was no freedom of speech. And since then, goddamn, there's been a lot of books written. Should we repeal the First Amendment because of some of the stuff that's being written we don't like?
Worldwide. So times have changed. The internet is flourishing, but
yeah, because of Section 230, you dipshit.
First Amendment still must be protected.
Pam Blondie is hot. Her name is Bondi. Oh, I see what you mean.
No one could envision.
Pam Blondie. Once I love and it was a guess. Still found out Trump's a pain in the ass.
What was about to happen with the internet in our country now, with billions
and like the Iraq and such as
billions of users worldwide. So that's why this is so important.
Yeah, because social media has flourished amazingly because of 230, and also the ability of these sites to broom out bad actors as part of that, to keep people from posting the dark web awful that exists in the world.
And when you have Mark Zuckerberg and others being called in front of Congress and being coerced and being questioned by all these congressmen, then you
and women
also have
sexist
Mark Zuckerberg emailing with Dr. Fauci about COVID, and in fact, a lot of their emails that we received have been redacted, not just because of phone numbers, but because they were trading trade secrets, things that they were. So a private company is communicating with the federal government, and parts of that were redacted. So
yeah, have you seen those things? He's president. This asshole right here was president. He's probably got access because of his security clearance. Have you looked at what was redacted? Because I'm going to guess that the stuff is personal information so that you don't know where, highly sensitive human beings live, including Dr. Fauci.
So that makes them...
Oh, she's not... Bibi Daly, she is not working on the legal team. She's part of the America First, campaign pack or whatever. She's helping run that. So she's on salary from that stuff.
They're not immune.
It's the lawyers that are going to get fucked.
Anymore. They are not immune anymore. It was coercion, collusion, working together, and they cannot hide from the First Amendment. That's why this is so very, very important. Even Facebook's oversight board that Mark Zuckerberg created, the oversight board came back and said, there were problems, and it lacked consistently being applied to everyone by community standards.
Right, because Trump managed to do shit that the rest of us would get kicked off for because he was president of the United States. And then as soon as he was no longer president, he got kicked off like any other nudnik.
So that's why this is so important.
Yeah, COVID trade secrets, absolutely. Facebook owns the Wuhan lab. I think that's where we're going, right?
Us, for our future, for all political parties, for all human beings around the world. We believe in the First Amendment, and America First policy will fight for it. Thank you.
Thank ya. That's it? That's all he had? Shit. I'm way over again. Look at this. I've already gone late again. Forgive me. All right, there's so much to cover. I've got so much stuff. Look at the Flashpoint, guys. Oh, and of course, this chick. Oh, God. Marjorie Taylor Greene on Bannon's show. The title of this is Marjorie Taylor Greene, America is a Sinking Ship. And this is the America First crowd. America is apparently not the resilient, flexible democracy which, has power in its, liberty and flexibility, and its tensile strength is is made even stronger by its ability to adapt, unlike other more rigid belief systems, yada yada. No. America's just a failure, and it only took a couple of days to, of the Biden administration to totally wipe it out. Listen to it. Yeah, I thought it was great again, too. Apparently not. Yeah, it's just, this starts off with, because we did Tucker. I feel like we should end with Hannity. I'm just going to throw this on at the tail end. I may not do all of it. It's a shorter piece. So, but understand, we're coming out of a segment where this asshole over here is freaking out because black lady run fast smoke pot. And that's where the panic comes in. Okay, this is called Hannity. This isn't a joke. Who's in charge of the White House?
We begin with a very serious question.
By a very inserious person who looks like a fire plug in a suit.
This isn't a joke.
Oh, so it's different than your regular show.
Who is in charge at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue?
Of what? You mean like the chef or people at the grounds or is Biden actually at Pennsylvania? Are you asking about the building when he's gone?
Look at this Trafalgar. That's Robert Cahaley and Convention of States poll, one of the most accurate pollsters in the country. A majority of the American people believe that it is definitely not Joseph Biden. A whopping 57% think that Joe is not fully executing the duties of the office of president.
Yeah, he delegates a lot of what he's doing. He's actually, I mean, a good leader, you're doing like 20% of it. You know, you could argue that that's him doing more shit than he should.
President.
Fully executing. Yeah, he is not executing. I mean, he's the executive branch, but he's not actually the one who actually does the stuff, pulls the strings on it. He's the guy who actually goes, yes, this is our strategy. You guys take care of that. If you run into any speed bumps, let me know.
In other words, Joe's not making...
And by the way, this is also a push poll by a lunatic right-wing organization. It's a total push poll.
Decisions, he's not in charge.
Convention of States Action Trafalgar Group.
I know at times on this program I have joked about this, but honestly...
Yeah, don't use that word.
Starting tonight, this stops. That stops. Joke.
It's not working? This is why, by the way, just so you know, Sean Hannity is saying it stops tonight. I'm not making jokes about it anymore because his jokes aren't working. The president's sippy cup bullshit. He's getting a lot of pushback from even supporters of the show because it sounds like he's shitting on America all the time, which of course he is.
Joke. This is not a joking matter.
Well, yeah, which is good because you're not funny and I mean you look. I don't know where to even put this.
America has a president that is now obviously cognitively compromised, and not only the country sees it, our enemies see it.
And he would know because he talks to them all the time.
And this cannot be...
Well, he doesn't talk to them. He tells Tucker Carlson what to email them, along with his pictures of his balls.
...good for anyone. According to this poll, look at these numbers.
Oh, my God, it's terrible. 58% of independents do not believe the president is fully executing the...
58% of independents, they see it. Even 32% of Democrats understand Joe's not really the one in charge.
No, you can be in charge and not executing the things. You know what I mean? Like the coach of... I don't know if you know this, but football coaches almost never run plays themselves. Almost never. I'm sure there's been a coach that's run out and pushed the quarterback out of the way and decided at the last minute. I'm sure that's happened at some point. You know, Little League's crazy sometimes. But
that's right. A third of voters, Joe's own party, believe Joe's not capable of executing his duties in the office of president.
Well, no, that's not what that says. It says he's not fully executing the duties of his office, meaning that other people do it. If you ask people that question a certain way, they're going to go, do you think he actually makes every phone call himself, or does he delegate it? Which parts of it is he involved in? Is he involved in all of it at once? The answer is obviously not. No one would be. But then, of course, this is a complaint coming from an asshole who's not even engaged in the writing of his opening monologue.
And, of course, they see what we all see, and that is somebody that is weak and frail and a cognitive mess and a shell of his former self. And it only appears to be getting worse. The main question now, okay, if he's not in charge, and
then how did he become president, and why are you on is your whole network's ratings slipping?
Polls show that most people don't think he is. Who is in charge?
Well, just because polls that were pushed by a group you like assert something doesn't mean it's anyone else's responsibility to answer your assertion.
Who knew about...
Yeah, and you're right. No, a third of Democrats do not think that. Yeah.
Joe's condition, and what did they know, and when did they know it?
And we're just going to show a loop of him ordering ice cream?
The weekend, more struggles as Biden pulled out 2 note cards in an unsuccessful attempt to answer a pretty simple, basic, fundamental question. This is like a softball. You just knock it right out of the park.
And instead of free-balling it, as you would, he decided to give the actual answer, and he had the numbers written down.
Joe, he's got to refer to the cards. Take a look.
With the most recent hack by the Russians, Would you say that this means
We're not sure it's the Russians.
Okay.
I got a brief as I was on the plane. That's why I was late getting off the plane. I'll be in better shape.
Wait. Why are you cutting? What are you taking out of there? He was answering the question.
To talk to you about it.
So you took out the rest of the answer, and then you jumped ahead to who he's going to answer next. Or talk to next.
I'll tell you what they sent me. Okay.
So he's referencing what he got sent specifically.
The idea, first of all, we're not sure who it is for certain, number one. And what I did, I directed the full resources of the government to assist in a response if we determine.
Oh, so you're not going to finish it? You're not going to finish the sentence? You're going to cut out the middle where he was talking about it, and then you're going to go to when he referenced what their statement was going to be. Honest to God. This is it? And by the way, for the record, every single night Sean Hannity uses a teleprompter. All the time. He's got an IFB in his ear not to hear his guests so his producer can tell him what to do next. All the time. Every day. Just so we're clear.
That wasn't a hard question.
Yeah, so why didn't you play the whole answer? Was it hard to play the whole segment? I mean, like, from when he was asked to when he moved on to the next question? Because you obviously edited it, and editing takes time.
That didn't need notes. Every hostile actor, every hostile regime in the world, they're studying him every day. And they're also becoming more emboldened.
Yeah, and what they're saying is, oh, he's not an impulsive asshole who can be led around by his nose like the last guy. That's what they're seeing. They're seeing him as contemplative, and they're seeing the response our government is putting forward. And that he formed a ransomware task force, for example, and he's letting them act on it. And he's also not jumping to conclusions so that he can be suckered into believing it was somebody else. If one group is, let's say we find out that China or Iran is actually behind this, but they're trying to make it look like the Russians are doing it because they know the last guy would defend Iran, Russia and stop looking. And so now they're seeing, well, maybe they'll take the bait again. And he's going, no, we'll wait until we have a real solid answer. That's what they're actually seeing. That's what they would actually see from if they're legit leaders, not opinion journalists who work for Rupert Murdoch in other countries.
Every day. Look at this report. Chinese state media, they're now publicly boasting about a three-part plan to invade Taiwan. In case you don't know, America's top ally in the region. In a long, belligerent speech, China's, hostile actor, dictator, Xi, actually said that he is committed to the hostile takeover of Taiwan, also vowing that any country that stands
Yeah, it was the 100-year anniversary. We saw that.
In China's way will, quote, have their heads bashed bloody against the Great Wall of Steel forged by over 1.4 billion Chinese people.
That's a different segment of the speech, but okay.
Now, keep in mind, China is now also, the media is ignoring this, they have teamed up with Russia, and they're now supplying the mullahs in Iran with dangerous weapons that they're using in their proxy wars all over the Middle East. Now, European leaders, they're voicing grave concerns over Iran's nuclear program, as the country will now soon again begin to produce enriched uranium.
Huh. Didn't we have an agreement with them that was holding when the last guy came in that stopped them from doing that?
And a massive violation of Obama's previous and precious nuclear deal,
Which, who got us out of that? Who?
Billions of dollars, cargo planes of cash and other currency. No word on how Biden plans to respond to any of these situations, just like it.
Yeah, he's not going to tell you, asshole. They're working on responses. They've got teams on it. That's what the State Department's for. We have ambassadors, diplomats. We're working with the UN. What are you talking about? I'm sorry, is he supposed to tweet bullshit to make you feel good?
There appears to be a plan of action against the Kremlin. What's Joe going to do after yet another likely Russian-based cyber attack? Up to 1,500
likely
businesses.
Oh, yeah. RNC says Russian-linked hackers breached one of its contractors. Huh. And after all they did for them.
Were targeted this time. The Republican National Committee allegedly breached. So another serious question tonight. Joe, what are you going to do? Or maybe the question doesn't go to Joe, whoever is actually making decisions at 1600.
By the way, Sean, if you want to make it look like he's not in control, don't show him in front of the White House speaking very boldly, doing his Clint Eastwood squint. It's not helping your argument. Go back to, use the footage, like where in between somebody asking him a very complicated question and him forming his answer because he's more diplomatic than the last guy who go, I think it's terrible, it's super great. We'll do it very fast and it's going to be in 2 weeks. Like that kind of bullshit, like, because he's not doing that.
100 Pennsylvania Avenue. What are you planning to do? Maybe you'll divulge who you are publicly. And of course, no one in...
Well, here he is meeting with first responders. You mean in Florida? You mean that kind of revealing who you are publicly? I mean, shouldn't he be out at the site throwing rolls of paper towels?
The media mob is going to hold Biden accountable, ever ask a tough question, just like no one on fake news CNN, 3 broadcast channels, MSDNC, New York Times, Washington Post. They won't dare ask questions about the mental...
Do you actually go anywhere? I mean, I know I'm doing this shit from the show, but like, you get paid millions of dollars. You don't, I mean, besides having sit downs with Trump at the golf club you're a member at, are you at any of these things? Have you arranged for a meeting with Biden?
Mental capabilities or lack thereof of their dear leader, just like they denied riots were riots, just like they protected Canada.
No, protests are protests, riots were riots. But protesters aren't rioting just because you don't like what the people protesting are protesting about. You can't make them the rioters and looters. There's a separation there.
Joe Biden in his basement bunker, now President Joe. And remember, these were the same...
Yeah, all it took. Yeah, it's amazing. He just hung out in his basement, fucking beat your guy. That's weird. Can't think, can't put a sentence together, takes him forever he has to use notes to answer shit, and still kicked your guy's ass all over the place. Leveled him in the debates, embarrassed him in the election.
Same idiots who were the biggest proponents of all they wanted to talk about was, the 25th Amendment and whether or not Donald Trump will get a cognitive test all throughout the Trump presidency.
Have you, Sean, I'm guessing you didn't see the announcement of the lawsuit today.
In fact, it wasn't that long ago that the armchair psychologists on the left and in the media had no problem diagnosing the President of the United States and demanding his removal from office for a variety of issues.
That happens when he throws his jaw in reverse sometimes.
You might recall. Let's go, as Warner Wolf said, to the videotape.
Rosenstein discussed recruiting cabinet members to invoke the 25th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution to remove Mr. Trump from office for being unfit.
People close to him during the campaign told me had early stages of dementia. Now, listen, you can get mad at me if you want to.
You can say that's not okay to say, but
it is okay to say.
He is unfit. Invoke the 25th Amendment.
This New York Times article basically...
Yeah, I mean, it's
showed us how Trump is not only in the early stages of dementia, but he...
By the way, we're past the early stage now.
...is in cognitive decline.
Watching this president from here, I discussed the 25th Amendment at the end of the first month of the Trump presidency.
Join the Senate Democratic leader in calling on the vice president to remove this president by immediately invoking the 25th Amendment.
He is unfit, and he should step aside. And it may take a 25th Amendment to get him to step aside.
If we applied those standards to Joe, we'd be invoking the 25th Amendment and asking him to step aside.
Why? I'm sorry, has he crisscrossed some sort of policy line and screwed up has he gone to, did he meet with Vladimir Putin, shake his hand, palm up, and then tear up his notes afterwards and not let anybody present gather with him, and then go out in front of the world with Putin standing there and go, I can't imagine why they would do something like that.
Now, despite Biden's obvious everyday cognitive struggles, the media,
he has a stutter.
Mob is suddenly unconcerned with the mental capabilities of the President of the United States.
because none of it exists except in your mind. I mean, there might be an argument for you. Is there a 25th Amendment in the Fox business code? I have to talk to their HR department.
They're also totally unbothered by the corrupt Biden family syndicate. And yet, another explosive report. I can't wait for a book to come out. Miranda Devine.
Some daddy pay care.
Texts from Hunter's laptop from hell show the president's son complaining that he, Hunter, had to pay for, quote, everything for this entire family.
This is the same shit we saw last year. They've had this whole laptop for 2 years, and the only stuff that they're sharing is this. I mean, we've seen this with Rudy Giuliani's thing over and fucking over. This is the one, like, if you have to pay for everything in this family, why would you? How are you the bag man if you're bitching? The bag man just carries the money. They don't. If he had to pay for this stuff, or it was understood that the big guy got it, and all they're alleging about this big crime syndicate, who the fuck goes to the Godfather and go, why am I paying your bills, Pop? This makes no fucking sense.
Family for 30 years, including Daddy, apparently, while vice president.
This is the same, again, this is this Sunday? You're putting this out now? We covered this on Rudy's Common Sense in, what, August of last year? Yeah, and yes, agreed. There is no laptop. This is bullshit. There's no fucking way you have an entire laptop if we're still talking about 4 printouts Rudy Giuliani gave you last year.
Other documents revealing that Hunter purportedly paying for his father's cell phone bill, other household expenses. Now, why on earth would Hunter, we know at the time a struggling crack addict and prostitution addict apparently.
Can you be a prostitution addict? I guess so. It'd be a sex addict. Is there a way? I mean, I guess well, people are going to like what they're going to like.
Why would he be paying his prominent father's bills when he's wealthy? It's almost as if
It's almost as if the laptop doesn't exist and it's all made up.
Guy was just taking his cut of the pie. Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Well, then why would he bitch about it? That's the end of that piece. Holy hell. That's all? Sean. That's what you got? You're the whole premise, this whole bit was who's in charge at the White House. You've set this up. It's called Hannity. This isn't a joke. Who's in charge of the White House? That's the name of this video. And we go through this whole thing, the beginning. That was your premise, right? This is the baseline premise of it. Oh, wait, hold on. Back up. Go back.
So joining us now.
Wait, I'm not going to that one. Back up. 1, 2. There we go.
We begin with
So we start this. This is the premise. Who's in charge? Then we go to poll Americans don't believe he's in charge, which doesn't tell you who's in charge. The premise is that whatever people believe is reality. And it's a push poll from a conservative group, but never mind that. It has to be true. This is independents and Democrats supposedly believe this. And then they go to this one piece. He cuts the middle out of Biden's answer, cuts to the end of it when he's going to the next piece, and he's just going, let me reference what they told me. This is what they said. And then I put the full force of the government behind a response if needed. That's it. That's our whole statement. They wrote out a statement. If there's a statement on this, it's pretty touchy shit because it means going to war with Russia if they're actively involved in this stuff. It's not something you tiptoe into or trip and fall into, I suppose. So they go this piece, he plays this again, and then he goes to, plays the chunk of it after he's at it, and then this goes, America's enemies emboldened, meaning America's weak, and all these Iran and China super strong, and more Chinese and Iranian propaganda, just basically parroting Chinese talking points, and quotes from different sources. This is Reuters, and this was the the Sun. And then, so we go to that. By the way, is any of this about who's in charge in the White House? Just saying, still on, we don't expect it to keep on one track. But I just want to clarify, this is his monologue. This is breaking news at the bottom of it. And Dan Bongino is coming on to talk about it. Then, this is a little recap. Then we go, European powers decry latest nuclear move by Iran. Well, who got us out of that deal? That was Trump. We had a deal. Now we're trying to rebuild the deal, which you don't think we should have the deal, so why should we have any say in whether they have nuclear power or not? Trump got out of it. What are you going to do, Joe, about these things because they haven't announced their response yet? Then RNC says they were hacked. Again, who's in charge at the RNC that they were hacked? Then Biden's protection program, that's I guess that's the news media protecting him from himself. And then this is his response. Remember, we're still, the name of this video and the opening premise is who's in charge at the White House, meaning somebody needs a cognitive test. And then he goes through and shows all the people who were responding to what Trump was, his issues cognitively. Doesn't show the clips that they're referring to, which is kind of telling, Sean. And then goes back to Biden protection program, and then Hunter engaged in some daddy pay care. This is the thing, and they're still using the same evidence, lack thereof, fabricated evidence from last August that didn't work before the election, isn't working now, and is all made up. We'll show pictures of them together because father and son. Again, Hannity, how much does your show fucking cost with this fiber bullshit you're throwing up? Yeah, who is in charge at Hannity's show? That's a great question. That's the name of this video. Who is running Hannity's show? Because it doesn't look like anybody is, especially Sean Hannity. Because if you're going to operate in your opening monologue on a premised idea, and you crafted it today, somebody paid someone on Fiverr to make this, graphic, money in the background, $50 and $100 bills, him applauding a smiling Hunter. My bills are paid in big green text, which is just cheesy as shit. Who is running Sean Hannity's show? Who's in charge over there? Who actually thinks this is good programming and it actually works? Because you can't just skate on the fact that you're, Trump's current ball gargler at Fox. It's not bringing the people in. You're going to need a media strategy, Sean. And with Tucker obviously looking down the barrel of some legal or ethical problems, or maybe the end of his marriage, you've already passed that part in your end, you're going to have to pick up some slack. You're the anchor, buddy. Who's running your show? Do you even have a staff? I mean, I know I'm doing this alone and Can't Stop Lying. Amazing work. Thank you for the help you do gathering clips for me so that I can react to these things without having seen them before. That was one of the toughest parts of finding material before, is the avoiding the temptation to actually watch some of this shit. But who runs Sean Hannity's show? I don't know. I don't know that anybody does. Certainly Sean Hannity isn't organizing this show into any cohesive structure nightly. It's all garbled bullshit. They set up a false premise, zigzag from point to point, which none of it ties together, then go to Dan Bongino. No wonder the Q people are dropping your goddamn show. As nutty as they are, they're pretty good at linking shit, even if it's, they're like, this leads to this, and this leads to this, and that can't be because it doesn't link to this. Are you just hoping that it'll trigger some weird brain cramp where they have to link shit for you? They'll think it's all tied together. Just count on it. Who is running Sean Hannity's show? I say no one. Prove me wrong. All right, that's the end of the show. Thank you guys for being with me today. I went long, but I didn't get to do a show yesterday, so I kind of missed out, and there was a lot of other stuff to do. And I still have a backlog of stuff I'll never get to. I mean, I could go 24 hours now if I didn't have a life and a child and other obligations and relationships and a band and stand-up career. And at some point when production gets back to normal, some acting work. But yes, who loves CSL? We do. We do. That's true. Bill O'Reilly went to the Bill Cosby School of Sexual Antics. Jesus. I don't know. I think it's the other way around because Bill O'Reilly is the master. $32 million. Cosby only paid $3 million, but then that got him out of jail, so it's priceless. Hard to say. But anyways, I'm going to let you guys go. I will see you guys tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Yeah, it's nutty out there. Absolutely. Take care of yourself. Take care of somebody else. And I will see you guys very, very soon. If you're going to be in the LA area, I will be at Flappers on the 18th.
and with special guest Jay Leno, and I think I might even be able to talk Stuttering John into coming down there because he worked on Leno's show, so it'd be pretty cool. Anyways, take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. Be well. See you guys later. Okay, bye. And let's see. I got it. Where's my sign out? There it is.